his vast network of connections to powerful people in politics and international business. His own character was described as reclusive, and he often avoided publicity while mixing in elite social circles that attracted a great deal of media attention. In this video, I am sticking exclusively to what I believe to be demonstrable, with the evidence we have available, and will not be exploring hypotheticals or conspiracy theories. Jeffrey Epstein was the son of a Brooklyn school aide and a New York groundskeeper, and worked as a teacher at a Manhattan school in the late 1970s. He moved into finance through his friendship with Alan Ace Greenberg, whose children attended the school at which he taught. Epstein impressed Greenberg with his mathematical abilities, considering him to be a wasted talent in such an inauspicious job. In 1978, Greenberg offered him a low-level position at investment bank Bear Stearns, which collapsed during the subprime mortgage crisis of 2008. Epstein displayed talent for the work and quickly rose through the ranks. In 1981, Epstein was asked to leave Bear Stearns under unknown circumstances and set up his own financial consulting firm, Intercontinental Assets Group, Inc. He described this as being a high-level bounty hunter, as he assisted his clients with the recovery of stolen money. Epstein was successful in this endeavor. In 1987, Stephen Hoffenberg, the chair of Tower Financial Corporation, an international Ponzi scheme that collapsed in 1993 and alleged that Epstein was part of the Ponzi scheme, hired Epstein as a consultant, paying him $25,000 per month. In 1988, while still at Tower Financial Corporation, Epstein founded his own financial management firm, J. Epstein & Co. He formed the company to manage the assets of clients with over $1 billion in wealth. Epstein required his clients to give him power of attorney over their assets. He charged an exorbitant fee and took complete control of their money. He allegedly found himself with a variety of high-powered international clients, although publicly only one could be identified. Victoria's Secret CEO Leslie Wexner, who would later claim that Epstein misappropriated millions in funds. From here, he used his company as a springboard for his own wealth and influence, creating a complex web of relationships with the richest and most powerful people in the world. Epstein seemed to display significant talent in this regard, solving the problems his clients faced and amassing a great personal fortune in the process. He used his wealth and connections to court and finance leading scientists in their endeavors, such as Martin Nowak, Lawrence Krauss, and Stephen Hawking. He hosted scientific conferences around the world in exotic locations, inviting the best and brightest to find new research projects to fund. This had a mixed reception from the academics in question, ranging from unbridled praise for Epstein's intellectual ability to eye-rolling disdain. But it was a core feature of his social life, which was otherwise well known to be licentious. It is important to note that Jeffrey Epstein had hundreds of connections to the richest and most powerful people in the world. He was part of the international elite and a well-connected socialite. As such, he was pictured with many different people in many different places, and the depth and scope of his relationships with these people is often difficult to discern. Meeting someone at a party or multiple parties is a common occurrence in such social circles and does not necessarily denote a personal relationship, although in the case of Donald Trump and Bill Clinton, there does appear to have been a friendship with Epstein. Trump had met Epstein sometime in the late 1980s or early 1990s, where the two were photographed and filmed moving in the same high-powered social circles. Trump and Epstein had become good friends, and were often seen together until 2004, where the pair had a falling out from a dispute arising from exclusive Palm Beach real estate that they both wished to own. It appears that from that point onwards, the two were no longer friends. In 2002, Epstein was profiled by New York Magazine, which quoted Donald Trump as saying, "He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life." After 2004, the pair were no longer seen together in public. According to a Daily Beast investigation, Epstein appears to have courted former President Bill Clinton throughout the 1990s, attending several White House events and donating to the renovation that Clinton undertook. In 2002, Clinton traveled with Epstein on his private jet to Africa. A spokesman for Clinton said at the time, "Jeffrey is both a highly successful financier and a committed philanthropist with a keen sense of global markets and an in-depth knowledge of 21st century science. I especially appreciated his insights and generosity during the recent trip to Africa to work on democratization, empowering the poor, citizen service, and combating HIV/AIDS. Clinton's spokesman claims the former president took 4 trips on Epstein's private jet between 2002 and 2003 in connection to the Clinton Foundation, which Epstein is recorded as having given a very modest $25,000 donation. In 2015, Gawker published the flight logs that suggested Clinton had flown at least a dozen times with Epstein, and in 2016, Fox News reported that Clinton had flown at least 26 times. Trump is only recorded to have flown once, in 1997. Trump and Clinton appear to be tied to Epstein in the person of British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell is the daughter of billionaire media baron Robert Maxwell, owner of several British tabloids. By the time of his death in 1991, Robert Maxwell was heavily in debt. Trump had been a guest on Robert Maxwell's yacht, the Lady Ghislaine, in 1989, and even before her father's death, Ghislaine Maxwell had been building a strong social network based on her family's connections to insulate herself from the inevitable fallout of her father's failure. She seems to have known both Trump and Clinton for a long time and been good friends with both, even attending Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010. Ghislaine Maxwell began dating Jeffrey Epstein in the 1990s. She was profiled in a New York Post piece in 2000, which implied that Maxwell had used her relationship with Epstein as a strategic move to guarantee her financial prospects and propel herself higher in elite social circles. By 2003, their relationship had ended, but remained, as Epstein described it, as best friends. In a Vanity Fair article of the time, she is portrayed as Epstein's personal assistant, who organized much of his social life. This allegedly extended to procuring young girls, mostly from disadvantaged backgrounds, for Epstein and his friends to molest, as claimed in multiple civil suits brought against Epstein and his associates, such as celebrity lawyer Alan Dershowitz and Prince Andrew, the Duke of York. These allegations have been consistently denied by those under accusation, and were all settled for vast sums of money except the most recent, which is still ongoing. Maxwell is alleged to have lured girls into the sex trafficking operation with offers of modelling and fashion work or offering to pay for their education. She apparently kept photos of the girls, while Epstein is alleged to have wired his properties with secret cameras in order to record his friends in the act. Maxwell denies all of this. It is important to note that both Donald Trump and Bill Clinton are not accused of having sex with minors in any of the dozens of civil suits brought against Epstein. A case was brought against Donald Trump in 2016 by an unnamed woman who claimed he had raped her when she was 13. The unidentified woman claimed she had been raped by a man in 1994, and only in later years, after watching The Apprentice, did she come to believe that man had been Donald Trump. The case was voluntarily withdrawn by the accuser in early 2017. In the unsealed testimony from Virginia Giuffre, which we will come to later, Courthouse News reported that she stated, "I didn't physically see him, Donald Trump, have sex with any of the girls, so I can't say who he had sex with in his whole life or not, but I just know that it wasn't with me when I was with other girls." She says she never saw Trump and Epstein together, but Jeffrey told me that Donald Trump is a good friend of his. As for Trump flirting with her, something that Churcher reported, Giuffre said that this wasn't true. Donald Trump never flirted with me. Then the next sentence is, he'd laugh and tell Jeffrey, "You've got the life." I never said that to her. From what I can find, it appears that both Donald Trump and Bill Clinton are in the clear with regards to allegations of sex trafficking or sexual abuse of minors in connection to Jeffrey Epstein. In 2005, a distraught Florida woman contacted the Palm Beach Police Department, claiming that her 14-year-old stepdaughter had been molested by a wealthy, grey-haired man called Jeff, who had paid the girl $300 for a massage. The teenager in question had apparently been groomed into the task by an older girl. The girl identified Jeff as multi-millionaire hedge fund manager Jeffrey Epstein through a photo fit, and a 13-month police investigation began. The investigation uncovered Epstein's luxurious and debauched lifestyle, in which he engaged dozens of young women of dubious ages in a sexual manner. Police raided Epstein's Palm Beach mansion and discovered evidence to support the allegations. In addition, they found various sex toys, lubricants, and receipts for books with names like Slavecraft, Roadmap for Exotic Servitude Principles. Around 40 girls gave testimony against Epstein in accounts that broadly mirrored each other. A young woman would offer the girls money in order to massage Epstein, and this would lead to abusive sexual encounters in some kind of sexual pyramid scheme. Often, Epstein offered the girls to his friends. The trial concluded with then South Florida federal prosecutor Alexander Acosta offering Epstein a very generous no-prosecution plea deal on just one count of soliciting prostitution from an underage girl, and payments to his other victims. In 2008, Epstein was convicted and served only 13 months of an 18-month jail sentence, under terms which allowed him work leave from jail for 12 hours each day and the ability to employ his own security detail. Michael Rita, the former Palm Beach police chief, said that Epstein received very unusual treatment and was clearly dissatisfied with the result. After Trump became president, Acosta had been appointed to the cabinet as Labor Secretary and recently resigned as a result of the new press storm regarding his involvement with Epstein's case. The Guardian reported that the paper had seen Epstein's black book of personal contacts and said that it read like a directory of the world's global elite. Under the letter B alone are listed Tony Blair, Michael Bloomberg, and Richard Branson. Elsewhere there are multiple contacts, typically at offices, homes, and via aides' mobile phones, for Bill Clinton, Rupert Murdoch, Donald Trump, Dustin Hoffman, Naomi Campbell, and dozens of other A-listers. In 2009, a woman called Virginia Guthrie filed a lawsuit against Epstein and Maxwell, claiming the pair had recruited her at 15 while in a position at Mar-a-Lago as a towel girl to become a sex slave in Epstein's sex trafficking operation. She told the Daily Mail, "Basically, I was training to be a prostitute for him and his friends who shared his interest in young girls." She laid allegations against Epstein, Maxwell, Dershowitz, and Prince Andrew, claiming they all sexually assaulted her while she was under Florida's age of consent. All those involved denied the allegations. After a complex series of lawsuits between Dershowitz, Epstein, Maxwell, and Guthrie, the case was settled in 2015 and the files were sealed by the judge. On the 6th of July 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was arrested at Teterboro Airport, New Jersey, on new sex trafficking charges for molesting dozens of underage girls in Florida and New York. On the 10th of July, 2,000 pages of documents previously unavailable due to court order were unsealed by a judge but were not made public. Epstein was not held in solitary confinement at this time and was reported by the Daily Beast to have a cellmate, one Nicholas Tartaglione, a former police officer charged with kidnapping and murdering 4 people in 2016. The two were reported to have got along well. On the 23rd of July, Jeffrey Epstein was found semi-conscious in a fetal position in his cell with marks on his neck after apparently attempting to commit suicide. The source of his injuries was unclear. Unconfirmed rumours suggested he had been attacked, and the Daily Mail reported that an insider claimed Epstein himself had said that someone had tried to kill him. There was no evidence to suggest that Tartaglione had anything to do with the injuries, and judging from the size of the man, it seems likely that he could have killed the 66-year-old Epstein at will. Tartaglione's lawyer claimed that he saved Epstein's life by alerting the authorities. Epstein was then placed on suicide watch to prevent such an occurrence from happening again. A week later, Epstein appeared in court to testify at a hearing in Lower Manhattan and appeared to have no visible injuries. On Friday the 9th of August 2019, the unsealed files were made public. The next day, Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his cell. Media reports almost instantly claimed that he had committed suicide by hanging, as reported by prison authorities. He apparently was not on suicide watch at the time. At the time of writing, I have no evidence to suggest that this did not happen, outside of a myriad of unsubstantiated conspiracy theories that I will not go into here. There are simply too many conflicting reports and allegations for me to be able to make head or tails of them so soon after the event, and so I'm forced to leave these for another video. The documents from the 2015-2016 defamation lawsuit from Guthrie against Maxwell were a treasure trove of allegations given under oath. These had been agitated to be opened for some time by many different parties. Alan Dershowitz had sued to try to get them unsealed, believing they would prove his innocence, and activist Mike Cernovich joined a lawsuit in order to try and get them released to the public, as reported by Courthouse News. In one 883-page exhibit collection, Guthrie testifies about orders she received from Maxwell to have sex with New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, financier Glenn Dubin, model scout Jean-Luc Brunel, former Senator George Mitchell, and others. There was, another foreign president, I can't remember his name, Guthrie said at the time, asked to list the powerful figures she had been asked to service. He was Spanish. Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, is alleged to have molested one girl, and Guthrie says that she was lent out to the prince for sex. A butler reported seeing Maxwell attempting to force a crying 15-year-old Swedish girl to have sex with Epstein against her will. Epstein's little black book was handed over to the FBI by Epstein's former Palm Beach butler Alfredo Rodriguez. Ghislaine Maxwell maintained a contact list in an approximately 100-page long hard copy, which was openly available to the other House employees, Guthrie's attorney wrote in a brief. It consisted primarily of telephone numbers, addresses, or email addresses for various personal friends, associates, employees, or personal and business connections of Epstein or Maxwell. Additionally, and importantly, there are several sections entitled Massage, alongside a geographical designation with the names of females and corresponding telephone numbers. As reported by Politico, Epstein and Maxwell apparently used their visits to Trump's private Mar-a-Lago resort to recruit girls into their sex trafficking operation. This appears to have been done surreptitiously and not with the permission of anyone who worked there. According to the documents, as reported by the New York Post, Epstein sexually assaulted a girl at the resort in 2011, and Trump banned him for life as a result. Disappointingly, it is difficult to be certain of who knew what in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. The two appear to be the key focal point around which the sex trafficking operation took place. Epstein was well known for being opaque about his personal life to his friends and acquaintances in his high-flying social circles. Epstein and Maxwell were well known for having tall, beautiful women around them at all times, but none of the people around him have admitted to knowing anything about the situation regarding sex trafficking, and claimed that none of the women he was publicly seen with appeared to be under 18. As already stated, there are no victims levelling allegations at either Donald Trump or Bill Clinton in regards to Epstein's operation, and Trump appears to have rejected Epstein as a friend or associate long before he became president. At the time of writing, the investigation into Epstein's death is yet to conclude, and no conspiracy theories regarding Epstein's escape or possible murderers has brought any concrete information to light. Had he survived, criminal proceedings would have continued against him, and the evidence regarding his activities would have been brought through the courts, and those people involved would have been exposed. According to former federal prosecutor and CNN contributor Renato Mariotti, Epstein's suicide ends the criminal case against him because no one else was charged in the indictment. How convenient. If I were to speculate, I would suggest that given the numerous and incredibly influential connections Epstein had, connected with the testimony from numerous alleged victims of Epstein's sex slavery operation, it is entirely possible that people with the right connections could indeed arrange to have him either killed or removed from the prison. I believe that enough wealth and influence could indeed make this happen. However, I have no evidence to suggest that this happened, or even the ability to name any suspects in this regard. So far, I have no reason to believe the Clintons were actually involved, nor do I think Donald Trump was involved. This is not to say that either party is innocent of wrongdoing, however. There are many unanswered questions in connection with Donald Trump and Clinton's journeys on Epstein's private jet, and the numerous prominent international figures who allegedly took advantage of Epstein's sex slavery services. As it stands at the moment, we do not appear to have answers to these questions. Perhaps, in the future, this information will come to light. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm sorry that I can't give you anything more concrete, but at the moment we're in quite an early stage of the investigation. I imagine I'll probably have to do a follow-up video later on in the future. As usual, all sources will be linked in the description, and as you can imagine, reports like this take a lot of time and effort to put together. I do not run corporate adverts on my channels, and I am entirely funded by donations from grateful viewers. If you would like to contribute to my channel, you can make a one-time donation on PayPal, a recurring donation on Subscribestar, purchase merch from the merch store, or donate via Bitcoin. All
time to lay the toss. Time to lay the toss. It's all about the tall, now you lay it. It's all about the hard can, where you place it. It's all about the scene, if you can't stand it. It's all about the plans and who's gonna fake it. I am the tall, you don't wanna lay me. Damage control, no way you can see me. Fans all paying, I know they're angry. He's in the pain before Cody takes me. Throw your contracts, please don't run. Too late up with bad gun. We are the big leagues and we make the rules. So move on up here and dance like too cool. Trying to figure out what your game is gonna be. Get over 4 months in NXT. Don't you forget there's no fans here today. Cause I have the tops and they're going to lay.
The greatest form of control is where you think you're free when you're being fundamentally manipulated and dictated to. One form of dictatorship is being in a prison cell and you can see the bars and touch it. The other one is sitting in a prison cell but you can't see the bar, you think you're free.
What the human race is suffering from is mass hypnosis. We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers.
We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us modern day slaves. And everybody's just walking around, head in the clouds, who wanna wake up to a dead in the grave. By then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of days.
Everybody is slaves, only some are aware that the government releasing poison in the air. That's the reason I collect so many guns in my lair. I ain't never caught slipping, never underprepared. Yeah, they shade sign on me, they just spray it proudly. George Bush, the grandson of Alistair Crowley. They want you to believe the lie that the enemy Saudi. The enemy ain't Saudi, the enemy around me. It's fluoride in the water, but nobody know that. It's also a prominent ingredient in Prozac. For real? How could any government bestow that upon people who believe in political throwback? That's not all that I'm here to present you. I know about the Black Pope and Solomon's Temple. Yeah. About the Vatican assassins and how they will get you. And how they clone Barack Hussein Obama in a test tube.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us modern day slaves. And everybody's just walking around, head in the clouds, who wanna wake up to a dead in the grave. By then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end.
Whoever built the pyramids had knowledge of electrical power, and you know that that's the information that they suppress and devour. Who you think the motherfuckers that crashed in the tower? Who you think that made it turn into ash in an hour? The same ones that invaded your own, the ones that never told you about the skeletons on the moon. Yeah, the ones that poison all the food you consume, the ones that never told you about the Mount Vesuvius tombs. The bird flu is a lie, the swine flu is a lie. Why would that even come as a surprise? Yeah, the polio vaccine made you die. It caused cancer and it cost a lot of people their lives. Do y'all know about Bohemian Grove? How the world leaders sacrificing children in robes? Lucifer is God in the public school system. I suggest you open up your ears and you listen.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us modern day slaves. And everybody's just walking around, head in the clouds, who wanna wake up to a dead in the grave. By then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of days.
The greatest hypnotist on planet Earth is a oblong box in the corner of the room. It is constantly telling us what to believe is real.
If you can persuade people that what they see with their eyes is what there is to see, you got them. Because they'll laugh in the face of an explanation that portrays the bigger picture of what's happening. And they have.
There we are.
Y'all, here we are, and there we are, there you are, at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen as we come to life. 3 strong. We never know if Big Sal's going to be able to join us as we face all storms on all fronts, ready to knock them down here because we got chrome tanks, players like Yanks, check the franchise, front on my guys, my enterprise splashes many lives, repel all the fakes like reflectors, had sugar in his ear in his last crack career, and we can handle them, manhandle them if you want, and we'll manhandle any topic out here because nothing's taboo when it comes to searching for the truth with the Conspiracy Horsemen. YOLO! Slipped on the verse there. GGP, I told you Raekwon gets me. That just even in my enterprise splash many lives. I don't know. I psyched myself
It's
out.
all right. It's all right. You grab the hole and continue. You're good to go, brother. They don't know. No one knows it's a mess up but you.
I know, but it's the chef. I try and master all my 36 styles, especially as Wu-Tang Story debuts on Hulu, which they missed the opportunity of marketing calling it Wooloo all week long, which was dumb as shit. And, I'm looking forward to watching all that, binging that this weekend. And it's always Woo Wednesday here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen, man. As we Wu-Tang bang, Stevie, who's your favorite member of the Wu-Tang Clan?
Bob.
Bobby Digital. I like Bob Digital, too.
It's actually a person?
Yeah, it's the research.
I was just trying to Google all these names, but you were spitting them out so fast I didn't know who they were. I'm not quite sure what to make all this.
We'll turn you into a Wu-Tang head. Yeah, it's the highest level of the art form, man.
I know about their financial company, which is probably
they're
more
great.
credible than Epstein's.
That's absolutely that for sure. I would definitely invest with the Jizzer over Epstein, even though Epstein thought he was the Jizzer. It got him in trouble.
You know, it's funny. Someone mentioned online about the whole Epstein scenario going down. How comes no one's mentioned his funeral or spoke about his funeral? Question mark, question mark, question mark. That was on either the post or a tweet or whatever the hell it was.
No, it's very odd that somebody with so much, you know, in the public eye actually like just disappeared. Did he get cremated? Did he? Well, I'm assuming too that he's Jewish, so within 48 hours you need to have the funeral. You have to have the what's called a shiv, where you cover all the mirrors up and stuff, and the family has to mourn. And Ben is let's see if we can get it. He's frozen. Well, he's happy about it. Look at his his face. My goodness, we have to get Ben back. He's already been NK Ultra. Look at that. He looks like Santa Claus.
He does, dude. Holy shit. He's like an Arabian Mick Foley over here. Look at this guy.
Get that. Hold on a second. Let me.
I just took a picture of it.
I gotta get it too. That's new group chat. Oh, he's gone. Oh shit. All right, let me see if I can get him back. Is that him? All right, let's add him. See if he comes back here. It's
looks like Triple D gave him free donuts or something. You know what I mean?
Let's go ahead and start the show. Let's see if he can come back. His internet might be out right at the very beginning. So, oh my goodness. So I mean, you know, for people that were enduring the pre-show, I guess a couple people that weren't crazy about it, but it always bears reminder to talk about Epstein, to show these documentaries about him and show everything. He's unavailable. He must be restarting. Start talking about Ben, not Epstein. He might be.
Yeah, well, you never know
for comment right now, but I think it bears a reminder from time to time, if not every single week on the show and a pre-show, to let people know that this fucking guy existed, and there's a document with what, at least 1,000 names that they're probably going to end up, you know, sweeping under the rug.
And the sad thing is, people are still waving the flags, yelling out the long game, long game, long game, and nothing's going to happen. Not one body, not one soul who's attached to this individual, either through Hollywood or through politics in D.C., will go down with the ship, because all these people are going to, above the law, they're going to walk free. And that's a damn shame, too, because people obviously were hurt, both physically, emotionally, and, you know, the scenario just at hand is disgusting and disturbing, and someone needs to pay, in my opinion. But that's just me.
Well, the person that they wanted to pay, I think for the most part, mainstream media, it's already gone through the cycle. He's dead. Yeah. It's wrapped up in a nice little bow. He killed himself, and we need to move on with our life. The one bad person in America that was trying to fuck kids is dead. So time to celebrate and move on. It's a new age.
I think they spent more time with Cosby than they did with this dude, you know, on the news cycle.
Oh, but they buried Cosby. They buried that into the ground until Hannibal Buress came out. And I don't know why that triggered everybody to all of a sudden pay attention to what was going on. Very interesting. I've been brought it up before. I wish he would come back. His internet is down. So remember this timing coincided with him trying to buy NBC.
Yep.
Really very weird there, too, that all of a sudden, not to say he didn't do all this stuff, but why at that particular time did he end up getting exposed?
Because he tried to bite the hand that fed him. That's why. NBC pushed him to the moon, put the backpack on his back and gave him that Hulk Hogan push with the Cosby Show, made him a household name, and then he wanted to buy a portion of it, and he wasn't part of the Good Brother Club, no pun intended. And what happened? They exposed him for things that they knew he did, and same thing happened with what's his name? Harvey Weinstein. He must have pissed off the wrong person down in Hollywood, or they just needed to throw a crumb here and there to throw people off the real path. And that's why he got exposed too, because he pissed off the wrong people.
Yeah, the way we need to look at this, more importantly, here comes Ben. Ben Dor. Ben Dor from BDX, from the cult BDX in 1996. I just want to finish my thought. The thing, we've talked about it before, and the instant thing that I think of whenever one of these guys supposedly go down and finally get theirs is they've already had the replacement trained, put into place, and in the shadows, and they get better at fucking hiding themselves and doing the work and kayfabing. Each time this is kind of like a cycle of kind of like trying to figure out what the happy medium is with these sick fucks, right, Ben?
Yeah, who are you talking about specifically?
We were touching on the Epstein thing again, and just talking about how, it's, Epstein committed suicide or Harvey Weinstein got caught. So now it's all wrapped up in a neat little bow and nothing to see here. And we were talking about how mainstream media it's gone. But we need to remind people, even if it is on a weekly basis with the pre-show, that that there's people out there, at least 1,000 people in these documents.
This shit isn't even close to being over with. So
not for us.
If you're into the pre-show, no, we've been studying this shit for the last 8 years. We've been knowing about Lolita Express and all that, and sending it all up when it comes to when they try and dispel about Pizza Place and all the shit that comes out about Podesta, and that's still hitting on Twitter or whatever. So if you're late to the party and you're here at the pre-show bitching about it in the chat, get your shit together. Start with, and then this week more dropped. We still got his pimp lady that's out there in the street reading CIA books, waiting to get picked off. We got his bodyguard this week, who was an ex UFC guy who got knocked the fuck out by Frank Shamrock in his debut, and worked for Epstein for the last 5 to 6 years as personal security and personal trainer. So he's seen it all. And when they tried to even interview him, he totally faked. He's like, you don't want to ask me that shit. You're going to end up dead if you know the answer to that. Like, if I tell you, like, don't ask me. And like, they got it on tape. So now, just because Epstein's dead, any decent investigative journalist is going to go out within one circle of their, close associates, and they're going to be mea culpa too, guilty by association, because they've seen it and they either protected it or were a part of it. In the greater scheme of things. So just to be like, Epstein's dead, it's buried, or, wait till the next time Carlos Danger, Anthony Weiner gets picked up doing some shit with a 15-year-old, and then maybe we'll hold him. No, this is a constant battle and a constant war that we're always fighting. And because we told you so on some shit about somebody who's about to get whacked, and then they do, and everyone's like, oh my God, well, the conspiracy side of us knew about this was coming a year ago. And now, because it's in your Nancy Brown CNN daily bowl of cereal, welcome.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's good.
Welcome to come and take a big bite of shit, because it does not taste good. Guess what? You got to swallow it.
That's what she said.
So that's just the heater promo of, like, if you're tired of seeing it, guess what? It's going away.
What was that picture you sent to the group chat? Who was on his island?
It looked like him.
It looked like him, right? That's what I thought it was.
I don't know how
There's
old it
still
was.
stuff going on.
I don't know how old it was, but according to the article, it seemed like it was sometime. Like, they're making it either sound like it was Google Maps from a long time ago, but this guy had the facial scruff, the scruff that he had from the prison, which he never had before until he got arrested. Little details that made it look pretty current.
Yeah, there's still activity on the island even now in the last week. So what's going on? What's really being scrubbed? Who in the deep state it was told that don't mess with him. He's intelligence, and he's obviously the biggest blackmail dealer in the world who can get mansions, $14 million mansions for $1. Come on, son. So let's just keep chipping away. Dude, guy might be a great UFC fighter, but this is what independent media is all about. Anybody can be gotten to, and it only takes one question, the right question, and getting the response on camera, whether it's kayfabed or not. Sometimes the body language and face will tell the true tale. That's what Luke Radowski used to do. That's what a lot of independent journalists used to do. If we were men on the street and we have the opportunity, we're obviously going to do it. From the chat room, one of our great sponsors of this month, Voices of Misery podcast, asked, who is Nancy Brown? We refer to Nancy Brown a lot. And funny enough, we've actually seen B-roll of some women's festival celebration where there's a keynote speaker named Nancy Brown. But Nancy Brown is the every woman of the Midwest who brought up their daughter in pageants to cheerleading, who believes every goddamn thing that there is on CNN, that follows every trend, that watches Dancing with the Stars, that they're just completely clueless and involved in the bread and circuses. And those are the as RZA would say, I fear for Meth would say, I fear for the 85 who don't got a clue. He's talking about the 85% who are the blind, the sheep, or whatever you want to call it. And it's just that Oh, they would never do that. They'd never put fluoride in our water to calcify us and keep us all dumb. That mentality, like that 55 to 70-year-old demographic woman who is the blind Hillary supporter who does not see shit about the body stacking up. That's who we're trying to wake up. At the end of the day, not like we're trying to reach them, but if we keep chipping away little by little at their kids and the people in their family, and we interrupt their Thanksgiving dinners with real conversation, so be it.
I was just going to bring up very quickly, Ben, because I was looking for that picture from the island and that interesting collage. If you guys are looking on the Twitch page,
yep.
It shows and it draws the differences in Epstein's body with his nose and ear compared to what he looked like when he was alive, as far as the profile pic. Like a profile shot, the nose is a completely different shape. The ear canals are, you can't, there's like kind of fingerprints. Those are completely different as well.
This goes right into what we're talking about tonight, but now with other people, I would say no, but here's a guy who could, within one call, be on a military base with the greatest plastic surgeons in the world, redoing his face-off style to, if he's that high level of a blackmail dealer, do actually change his face so he can keep operating, which was about Hitler too, and changing your look when you're on the run. And this guy wanted to not just have Sex Island, but start a whole race of people that were his offspring. So not race, I should say, but
all right, now it's a party.
What's up, boys? Fucking Orange Cassidy, Pockets. Is that you, Pockets?
Look at him. He has his Hunter S. What's that guy's name? The
Hunter S. Thompson.
His glasses on. Look at that.
Nice.
These are my fucking Big Lebowski, John Goodman glasses.
I would say as we enter back country, as shit gets crazier and crazier, the craziest of them all arrives. Big Sal
Be
Allah.
careful in the storm, Sal.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out, man. That storm will fucking get you. Gotta be prepared to shut the fuck everything down.
I'm so glad. This is such a relief. It feels like Shane Douglas is on the show.
Well, that's why I wanted to come on. I didn't want to miss that. That's nice, right?
I know you have to be in portrait mode in the car, but when you're in the kitchen.
Wait, is that better?
No, dude. No, now Shane's gone.
There you go.
No, don't put it in. What is this, fucking Pornhub?
Hey, dude, they get fucking views. Let's go. Well, I'll tag that shit.
I feel like we should be. Dude, what I was listening. Somehow the Joe Rogan thing came up because I want to front load all the affiliate and the ad stuff for the broadcast stuff. Like we were talking about, rather than take breaks, just front load it and say, if you don't want to listen, go to like 6 minutes, 37 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
Rogan used to fucking promote and do ads for Fleshlight.
Why not?
Oh, okay.
Why not, man?
Well,
listen, do ads for whatever we can. You got anybody want to fucking promote your porn? Send it over. I'll do plugs for it all day.
I had a talk with my wife because Ben had said, I think it'd be cool to like maybe pitch like the Blue World Order Blue Chew kind of thing. And then she explained to me, like, she's like, I don't know what that would do to your image to kind of push. I picture.
What do you care? You're retired.
Yeah, well, it doesn't need to be that. All it just needs to be is knockoffs of NWO thing with Meanie and a quick dick joke, and you're out, bro. It's just cashing in on on both being in the blue. Plus, we got to
say the Manscaped products. I have trouble with that. She's like, say this, and I'm like, you just said it. Why do I need to?
Chew. I thought Chew World Order. If we need to rebrand, if that WWE comes at us right
now,
an
extra 50 grand.
Yep. But yeah, man, opportunities abound, especially like I said, with Voices of Misery being a great sponsor, and also Rat Salad Review, heavy metal music, rat_salad at rat_salad on Twitter. You guys, we're looking to get those subscriptions up. If you were looking for great independent media, podcast media, they're supporting us, and they're going to be supporting with Russo brand. It's just awesome energy. As Russo leaves Westwood One, everybody marks out for these big ass, platforms. Oh, we got to get on there because Bischoff and Jericho and all these guys are on there, so it's credible. I'd rather run my own ship and not be beholden to, somebody else's anchor when it comes to censorship. and the truth that we can tell. So Russo is finishing up his Westwood One contract, and we're trying to expand all brands. So it's just awesome that we can all come up. Independent wrestling, independent media, independent podcasting. That's what we're doing out here, y'all.
Independent art. That's what it's about, buddy.
That's what it is, man. There's never been a better time to be so demassified and be able to use these free tools to reach a medium that you want, whatever you're a pro in. I don't give a shit whether it's Star Wars, horror films, fitness, or whiskey like we are here. That's what.
Speaking of using free tools, if you guys want a great vibrator, see, we can just go seamlessly right into that.
Right in there. Well, I did send something,
called chainsaw.
I wanted to talk about in the chat. I don't know if anybody got to see it, but it was Alex Jones again gets shot down in the Sandy Hook stuff by another parent, and they show Alex's deposition tape, and this lawyer is just wormy and accusatory, where he's like, did you make fun of and mock Sandy Hook parents crying, like out of context without showing the Sandy Hook dad footage? And Alex does the bad body language, pulling at his collar, and has to watch me either say no, and then they read it to him so he can then counter it. But they don't show when it counters their argument, but when it goes against it, they'll show footage. So he's there doing the dance even after he did the apology thing, and they're still hammering on him. And they put him over as doxing Leonard Posner and giving out his address in Florida, and like making it seem like now if anybody was watching your show, they could go down there and get to him while he's this isn't his company was supposedly a censorship company to take down anything even related to discussions about Sandy Hook, which furthers the conspiracy instead of talking open and honestly about it. And then they say, they lead the questioning of like, oh, somebody could do something psycho, like go track him down. Well, if this guy's got a legit business, why is it leading right to his house and is like some cover up? And they don't cover what we talked about with Wolfgang of they wanted to sue Wolfgang and pulled out at the 11th hour so he didn't have to testify. So some weird stuff is going on. And then just to follow that up, the other thing is whatever Nazi, chick that is that runs YouTube now for the censorship, Stasi, says we should have free speech again on YouTube. We can't have this. So people are posting Alex Jones videos, and things are going to be like, all right, let's see what line we're going to walk here. Are we going to go back, or is the pendulum actually coming back across the line? I talked a lot, but go ahead, guys.
Well, I was going to say really quick about the CT kicked in. All right, I'm done.
The blue chew?
Chainsaw?
Yeah, all the blood went to his blue meanie.
His Manscaped farts.
Blue veiny.
Awesome.
Yeah, we could rename him the Blue Weenie. We could do all that rebranding.
Yeah.
He's gonna fucking get it. It's just convincing, Stevie.
What were you saying before that? Let's remind me about this.
Alex Jones and the apologist stuff while he's doing deposition of Laughing Dad, and then he has to.
I remember. Here's the thing with that, and it's a pattern. They put it out there. They make Alex Jones the bad guy. He doesn't help his case, by the way, at all with the way he acts.
No.
They make him the heel. They have the groundswell of children died, so go after this man who's making fun of the children and the parents and all this stuff. They go to sue him. They go to the 11th hour. They don't follow through when there's any chance that their story is going to be dissected or cross-examined. But the thing is, the more damage, no matter what the verdict will be, no matter what the ruling, Wolfgang proved that. No matter what the ruling's going to be, the court of public opinion, if they convict Alex Jones and Wolfgang or anybody, it's done. You don't even need to go to a court and waste the money. That's the problem.
And that's what this guy was trying to do, is the wormy little lawyer. And where's Marty Leeds, Dear Wolfgang? I think that's the test. If this bitch is saying, oh, we got to reopen it, and Alex is getting hammered to the walls here, even though he's obviously been corrupted. It's after we watched the Apologist tour, we know they got to him. And now it's like, do you want us to take all your money away, or do you just want us to spank you publicly? Oh, I'll just take the public spanking, which is what this is. And he actually does defend it, but we don't, like, to the Nancy Browns who are just going to see Alex get his tits slapped. They're not going to see that footage of laughing dad and get to judge for themselves. Because how many are going to go off Alex's word after the berating to go look that up for themselves? And didn't we just see that again with one of the shootings in El Paso where there was a laughing dad scenario? Was that the one? I mean, one of these mass shootings that just happened in the last 3 months, there was something very similar to that.
Texas, no?
It was Beto, right? Wasn't it?
The senator guy, right?
Yeah.
El Paso.
Yeah. So, dude, like, but
that's not even
just
a dad. That's a politician trying to push gun control and policy, and he was still like literally popping for the fact that it happened.
Yeah, it was just another piece of the pattern as we recognize these things as they keep happening. And will they, be able to get Alex back on to where he's saying inflammatory things right before the election? Something doesn't line up with that in my mind.
They think that if they put a muzzle on this guy, like you said, right before the 2020 election, they have a good shot of not having Trump get back in the office. That's exactly what this all is. But they have to realize one thing. The more you make something scarce, the more people want it. So the more he's not going to be on TV, or in this case, YouTube, the more they want it. The more they're going to chomp at the bits for it, the more they're going to crave for it, and the more they're going to listen to when he actually does speak, because it's so few and far between, and it's not white noise anymore. Because let's face it, you listen to Alex Jones for 5 minutes, what do you hear? 1776, gay frogs. That's what you hear. And to be honest with you, I've always never believed nothing that comes out of this guy's mouth, because 9 out of 10 times it's misdirection information, because he's a CIA operative, in my opinion. But I know he's your boy. I know you like him. But at the same time, he could influence or sway a person to vote a certain way. And let's face it, Facebook just got caught saying that they were swaying votes towards Hillary. So, you know what I'm saying? The fact is, people want to try to take out all the variables from the equation, so there is no chance of having Trump get back in office.
I think they're letting him out of jail. I think they're letting him out of jail on that because now he's a toxic thing. Anything he says, people are going to go away from it. Unlike before, they're using it as a reverse weapon on him there. Sal, what are you thinking?
No, that's sorry. That's exactly what I was going to say. You cannot say, if no matter what your argument, you can legit have pictures and written docs. You can have videotape. You can have audio tape, and all you have to say is, "Well, Alex Jones, done. You're finished. No one is now listening to you. You have been in everyone's mind. You have been demonetized of any credibility." So Ben can come on here and say, "Okay, guys, seriously, I got the most fucking crazy bomb dropped on me that's going to blow the whole QAnon thing wide open, guys. Seriously, I'm fucking shattered." And we would all be on the edge of our fucking seats, and you go, "So I was talking to Alex Jones. Done." Everybody go, "Oh, yeah. Okay, terrific. Yeah. Sure, Ben. Yeah, no, we're with you, buddy. We're with you." And now we have to wait, because it's not you being the retard. It's Alex Jones is now, his name has been dropped in this. So now we have to question it, because he's already been reached, or he's been, yeah. And then before that, he was just so insane with some of the shit. And then, then you can dig down and you can really polish it up as much as you want and say, well, he was doing that to keep it on the entertainment side, because he'd have been whacked a long time ago if anybody took him seriously.
And there's, in wrestling now, there's plenty of information about top-level people that we know that keeps kayfabe that could easily be dropped to ruin somebody and watch them do the dance. Very easily. But yeah, so if you guys haven't checked out that Alex...
There he goes again.
Am I here?
You're back.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. I think one thing he's got to do is get rid of that Eddie Haskell dude on his co-host, dude. That guy, he was good. Like, he's the dude you want to punch in the face of the man on the street MAGA shit, but like to let him run the desk, it's not good for his brand.
Well, he's probably, you know what, dude? He's probably good at what he does, and Alex doesn't want to be bothered with it. Like, you always get these like main guys who want to do the show, and then they let some little fucking panty sniffer run their shit behind the scenes.
That's true. I
can't argue with Sal on that.
As we talk about that off air sometimes. Pretty crazy, man. Is right on for main top headline in the last 2 hours. Trump administration is considering using Amazon Echo and Apple Watch to determine if citizens should own a gun. Trump administration is considering a proposal that would be used Google, Amazon, and Apple to collect data on users who exhibit characteristics of mental illness that could lead to violent behavior. The Washington Post reported Thursday. The proposal is part of an initiative to create Health Advanced Research Projects Agency, HARPA, which would be located inside the Health and Human Services Department, citing sources inside the administration. The new agency would have a separate budget, and the president would be responsible for appointing its director. HARPA would take the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, that's DARPA, which serves as the research arm for the Pentagon. The idea was first crafted in 2017, but has since gotten renewed push after the mass shootings killed 31 people in El Paso and Dayton in August. The Susan Wright Foundation approached the president recently and proposed the agency include a project called Stopping Aberrant Fatal Events, which is safe, by helping overcome mental extremes, or Safe Home, the reporter notes. These motherfuckers.
You were like the Susan Wright Foundation. I'm like, what the fuck does breast cancer have to do with this? And then I realized, like, that's Susan G. Komen. Totally different.
They're both thieves. Citing two people familiar with the matters. I don't trust any Susans anymore. President Donald Trump has a close relationship with Bob Wright, who founded the foundation after his wife died of cancer. Wright was a former chair of NBC and occupied that position while the president hosted The Apprentice. HARPA would develop, quote, breakthrough technologies with high specificity and sensitivity for early diagnosis of neuropsychiatric violence, end quote. According to the copy of the proposal, a, quote, multimodality solution along with real-time data analytics is needed to achieve such an accurate diagnosis, end quote. The document lists several technologies that could be employed to help collect information, including Apple Watches, Amazon Echo, Google Home. Geoffrey Ling, the leading scientific advisor of HARPA, told reporters Thursday the plan would require enormous amounts of data and scientific rigor. He added, everybody would be a volunteer. We're not inventing new science here. We're analyzing it so we can develop new approaches. The White House declined to provide the Daily Caller with a statement, but sources told WAPO that Trump has reacted very positively to the proposal. It's unclear if he has even seen the safe home idea. Oh, yo.
We'll see you trying to raise you even more, big brother.
This is straight out of, this is nothing more than, coming right out of Silicon Valley, them writing policy of what they want to do because they've collected all this data illegally, and now how can we monetize it? And what's the crisis? Guns. So how can we take our data that we've collected illegally and be able to use it without getting our tits slapped? Government. Let's sell it to them, and we'll make a new HARPA, maybe get Oprah in there, and HARPA and HARPA can merge. We'll do it all.
Yeah, I'm just going to put this out there. That's why I will only ever keep axes, knives, and swords. I won't ever have a gun in the house. Legally.
What about a chainsaw?
I got that, but
Stevie, you got a chainsaw?
You have a strange obsession with chainsaws. That's all I'm going to say.
I have a strange obsession with chainsaws?
You do. You know, I think will solve this problem. More gun-free zones, because the criminals will see those
like
signs
Chicago.
and go, "Ooh, damn! I thought about it, but I saw that sign." And
You know what I think we should do? Actually, let's follow this down. Let's boil this down to the bones. I think we need to have reading and comprehension classes for all the criminals so they can read those signs that say gun-free zone. And then I guarantee, then they would be like, oh, we just didn't know what that meant. Because, let's be fair, some of them didn't have a great education.
so what you're saying, Sal, is
They're the victims, Stevie. We have to elevate them.
I would sound like Bubba. So what you're saying is, no. So what you're saying is they're the real victims, and we need to help them.
Yes, we have to help them. We are in the better place to help them than they are to help us.
Well, that means military invasion when we're going to help somebody, which they may need in Chicago because 31 shot over Labor Day weekend, 7 fatalities in Chicago, a completely gun-free city, filled with people that I love very much and have a high respect and opinion for, who have very vocal opinions about everybody else in the world and how they should live their life and what needs to go on. But meanwhile, in their own backyard, it's gun claps all day and all night long. So they can't even clean that up. But unfortunately, they have a lot to say because the people I know, they are actors and actors dealing emotions. So that's just.
They're just sensitive, like Big Ray, in their safe space.
Their heart's in the right place, but they don't have any experience. That's the problem.
Well, isn't that special?
Yeah. Shout out to the chat. Saw I popped Troy with some cheers in there with the bits. Greg Mosier, Bang Biscuit, appreciate all you guys with the bit cheers tonight. As we got a bunch to cover, this was crazy as we've been talking about this. When Black Mirror covered it, there was a Social Score episode. There was what's the new Star Trek that we like with Family Guy? What's
the Orville?
Orville, thank you. There's a great episode about Social Score there, and where people are taping everything in real time, and what you do, can send you to jail and even have you executed. And now
likes and dislikes.
Yep, in real time, up and down, and it's the reality show of it all. Now we've seen the rib of China, like, it's China, we can write it off. But now there's a million people who can't fly or take trains and are landlocked in where they can go there because they've been named enemy of the state through their Facebook, and all this type of shit of anybody, especially with what's going on in Hong Kong right now. And some of us, our loyal followers, sent us pictures of those riots that are going on in Hong Kong now. And there was police dressed as rioters. The guy's got a military tactical belt on with a Sig Sauer or a Glock 17 in it, and he's throwing a Molotov cocktail. So here we have, paid instigators to light stuff up so they can have a military solution, so they can have a greater solution. And we passed around that website that was incredible. How about that one pic that they took from whatever it was, 180 stories up, where you could look all the way down into the plaza and see the hair on the back of the dog and all that shit, man. Just insane invasion of privacy stuff that we've given up. Like in the chat room, someone said, I'm not going to be a volunteer. Brother, you're already a volunteer. Everything you're doing right now, listening to metric-wise, you're a number, man. Stevie, get them.
Well, if you have any free service like Gmail or anything like that, it's free, but you're the product. That's the thing. You're the product in this deal. I'm interested. I'm really interested to know more about Chicago, Ben. Try to explain this if you even understand it. If I lived, say, Philadelphia, where I'm from, and it was a gun-free city, or just gun control, it's the strictest gun control, just like Chicago.
No. You got that right. It's a free gun city. Philadelphia's a free gun city. You can just get one if you want.
But Chicago is preaching about how we need more gun control everywhere, yet they have the strictest gun control and the most amount of murders every weekend.
You're looking too close. You got to look outside your own yard. That's all.
So just look outside your yard and nowhere else.
Obama be there every weekend holding summits
He's busy, my man. He's doing Google Camp. He's doing fucking Netflix. He ain't got time to go to Chicago.
Giving out hugs.
Yeah, like he's taking Bailey's gimmick. So it's like that's where he should be if doing the MLK stuff every weekend. Nobody's going to be shooting down on 38th to 54th Street in Chicago on the South Side. If Obama's walking that every weekend, you're going to have every mother and grandmother out there in the street. And if that's what it takes for a year, so 31 bodies don't get dropped, well, then so fucking be it. But I mean, there's a separation, Stevie, in Chicago. The people I'm talking about are usually transplant Northsiders who grew up on the East Coast or Midwest, who go to live the beauty of the Chicago life. Work downtown, have all the restaurants, live near a ball field. Now, when the sun goes down in the South Side, you still got vice lords. You got every squad that there is out there trying to hold down their block to be some gangster cliche rolling around with heavy artillery. Now, there's no gun shops in Chicago, so where are they getting it? And illegal artillery. I've told this story before, but when Cabrini Green was still up, I would ride my bike back. I would get out of Whole Foods. This is 2001, 2002. Get out of Whole Foods, ride my bike back if I was working late shift, and right behind it there's train tracks. I seen the train stop, and I'm not shitting you. Probably 13 to 20 gangster dudes come hauling ass across the football field length. Cabrini Green jump up on the fucking train. It was fast, bro. It was some Usain Bolt shit. And crates come out, just like you would see in a movie, gun crates. And dudes are carrying them across the lawn, a guy on each side, and as they're hustling them back, up they go, dude, and the train takes off. And there's even YouTube stooges, this old gangster, not older, but I guess old if you're in the gangbang game, in his 40s, has said, bro, we would come out back, and there'd be crates of guns, like Glocks, just left in our back alleys here. So what's going on, whether it's the genocide stuff or they want to keep violence there, so they can keep the corruption in City Hall, because Chicago's the most corrupt city in American history, really. It still is. And, so you've got all these transplant people who deal in emotions and they want safety and the beauty of the city, but then you got the real deal gangbangers who are uneducated on the South Side to keep things wild every weekend. And a shooting will happen on the North Side. They're not just going to stay down there on the West Side, wherever it is, man. So the only place you're safe is the East Side, and that means you're out in a boat in the lake. So that's about it, really, dude. Chicago has been red hot for how many years now?
Yeah, but that's what I meant. People are judging the entire other parts of the country, and their other end of their own city is the worst part.
Yep.
I mean, what happens? All right, what happens if these people say, yeah, sure, and then all those people you talked about that have the guns coming off the trains start bleeding their way into the nicer parts of Chicago and just go on a rampage? Where do you think those guys live? They're going to want gun control then?
There was a shootout 2 years ago right outside Wrigley Field by the Cubby Bear. Dudes roll up an Escalade and pop because they saw somebody. There were South Siders who were on the North Side from a different set. So it's open country. Not that I want my people down there, but where are all, so many of my friends turned out for the pussy hat, anti-Donald Trump shit. Remember how live that was, where they all went down to the park for Lollapalooza is and all that shit, Millennium Park down there when they were doing that. Why don't they keep going another 60 blocks every weekend? Or why don't we all take the red line down to Chinatown and then walk another 30 blocks and do the handhold kumbaya there and say,
that's dangerous, fool.
We love you, bro. Not if you're in mass of 50,000 people every weekend and say no more violence and you're doing the chants.
Does anybody, don't you remember that girl, there was that white college girl who showed up for the Black Lives Matter in Philly and got her ass beat? So,
as he says that with a smile on his face.
Well, hang on a sec.
But my point is they're not putting their money where their mouth is. It's easy to be Twitter thumbs. And, dude, I see him reacting to Trump. People will say, fuck you, and high-level actors who are getting paid having visceral reactions to Trump shit instead of doing something smart or organizing and saying, you know what, if I really don't believe in guns and all this shit, then let me go clean up my own backyard here. And they're not doing that, man. So there's no real, like what you're saying doesn't hold water because you're not backing it up with your actions.
Okay, now let me preface this by saying this is not always the case. However, all these guys, rappers, all these, anybody, rappers, actors, comedians, anybody who grew up in the fucking ghetto, okay, the minute they hit it and got big, they got the fuck out. Okay? And again, I'm saying this isn't always the case. Some of these guys, I know, of course, you get all the hardcores. No, I mean, I'm still there. I'm still doing it. Of course you are. But then, you're traveling 51 weeks out of the year because you're on the road. So, you know what? You do live in the ghetto, man. You live in the heart. You live in the heart of that shit.
None of them stay there, bro.
Where's all your stuff at? Your stuff's at your other house.
Yeah, Twister, all those guys get out. Common doesn't live on the south side. No, dude, that's the dream, but that doesn't matter. That's 5 or 6 guys. Those 5 or 6 guys with dumb gangster lyrics influence thousands who think that instead of, I got to put over Chance the Rapper. He's the exact opposite of that. There's a guy in Chicago who puts his money where his mouth is, who backs schools, who backs programs so kids aren't out on the streets to be able to get involved in that shit instead of, I'm taking Molly Percocet and fucking I'm out here shooting motherfuckers in the face. Like a 12-year-old in the hood down there is listening to that and thinking that's what I got to be to get out of here, bro. So they do it 1,000 of them.
So how much of a coincidence is it that this Chance the Rapper, who's actually preaching positive rap, if you will, positive lyrics, and actually contributes back to society in a positive way, I guarantee you the average Nancy Brown or John Smith or Lamar Jones, if you will, don't know who he is.
They do, though. No, he's mainstream now.
He's over. He's over.
He's mainstream.
No, yeah. How over though? Is he?
Bro,
in Chicago, not maybe if you're talking Mississippi, whatever.
Nationally, I mean, we know who he is. All I'm saying is, on a national level, he's not as big as Kanye. He's not as big as Jay-Z.
No.
He's not as big as what's his name from Young
Money. But he's also not trying to floss like that either. He's trying to fucking, instead of having $200 shoes, he'd rather have 200 kids have shoes.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Exactly what I'm getting at, because music, entertainment, media, those are all tools for division. They want us divided, because if we all came together and realized what's really important in life, not a fiat currency, not power, but just being kind to one another, and not to sound like a Hallmark movie, no offense, Stevie, but in reality, that's what life is all about. Being nice to one another, loving one another, and doing the right thing. So the next generation can pay it forward and keep moving forward. And
I don't know, can they? Because I feel like we conquered this shit, GGP, in the 90s. Whether it was, interracial dating and the white kids getting into hip-hop and shit like that. Like, our generation broke that down, and then something came back where a big fucking divide. We were just told, nope, you're divided. Buy into it. You're divided. Nah, dude.
Yeah, but it's, you know what it is now? It's not even so much race. I mean, because it's still a factor. Because, unfortunately, hate sells. Now,
yes.
Now it's economic status. It's social class.
No, but
that's the division. Because if you're a guy who's wearing a $600 Gucci belt and you're rapping, you're looking as a success. But if you're a person who helped 600 kids go to college, you get no media. Nobody wants to hear that.
Not true.
Oh, really? So Akon, who went back to Africa and did all this
stuff, I don't know any of these people. Listen,
not Akon.
All I do is I see on the news every fucking night. I have to hear this shit on the news, and it's always this is how it's let off. I have to hear this person. This particular person, a black teen, if they were attacked, a black teen was attacked, or I don't hear about Indian people being attacked or beat up. They never lead off and they say a Hispanic gentleman. They don't ever start off. It's always a black kid or a Muslim. Those are the two buzzwords on the news now, every night. And what it is, it's garnering a divide between everybody. It's black and Muslim, and not even the same. It's just,
and that copy is written to go out to 400 different news channels.
Exactly.
So,
and then they have to. It was done to a white, by a white man, to a black man or a Muslim. I don't hear that an Asian grocer was attacked. I never hear that. I don't hear that a Pakistani cabbie was beat up. I hear that a mosque was destroyed. Suspects were white or suspects were black. Those are like the three races that are alive now in the news. I don't hear anything else, and I can't say that it's socioeconomic or it's always the same spots too, which is like you talk about Strawberry Estates in Philly, out that way, and you talk about Kensington, all those fucking places.
Is that Daryl Strawberry Estates?
It is. It's all full of crack. It's fucking awful. But again, all that is hammered down is, black against white, white against Muslims, or just unspecified violence against Muslims. They're the victims. Everybody's the victim. Those three races are it. That's all they're hammering that every single night. And I agree with what you're saying, GGP. There are guys who go out and they do that shit. They go and then a guy goes to Africa and he does a lot of charity, or this guy gives back and this guy gives back. And then you hear Facebook bullshit legends of Keanu Reeves giving fucking kids puppies and $1,000 and all kinds of shit. But again, this is, who knows? Who knows if it's true?
You don't have to go to Africa to do that. You can just go to Philly if you just want to be just another victim.
Beep, beep.
Beep.
This person's fucking score would go down in my book. I would have them killed.
I have
was that the Roadrunner?
Fucking Jersey.
I have I can get John Hartnett on the phone, by the way.
If you'd like, please, by always.
Let's give him a call, because that's kind of our segue into the storm stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's give him a call. Let's see if I can.
We're talking to Lance Storm. Is that what you said?
If I can find a picture of John to put up.
What's going on?
Put up a picture.
Hey, what's up, man? You're live on the Horseman, John. What's going on?
Oh, not much in between, hurricanes and fantasy football draft, So
which order? But that's not it. That's not in the right order of importance. The fantasy football draft is first, right?
Well, yeah, actually, fantasy baseball playoffs is first right now. That is number one priority, and then fantasy football drafting, and then hurricane supplies or whatever. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I got Ben, Sal, and Papadon on the phone, and I searched. I searched your picture real quick. I'm just going to go with the first result that we have. That's going to be a new game we play. This is John Hartnett who's on the phone from John Hartnett's on the phone from American Top Team. He looks like the older brother of John and Tony Podesta.
It's your sixth grade picture.
I got called the ugly Wahlberg brother by Mick Foley a couple weeks ago, so I guess that's.
Well, he's just ugly in general, so that's okay.
Yeah, that hideous bastard called me ugly.
So we got Ben on it.
This isn't a picture of you at all, but it's great.
Ben Papadon and Sal and I wanted to follow up because we talked to you last time a little bit. I think you had come on when we were doing the Houston flood, and we talked about Joel Osteen and other stuff, but it really centered around the Red Cross. So we were just kind of curious, since you're right there in the middle of it all, what's going on with the Hurricane Dorian and, well, if it's even a hurricane anymore, and what you see that might be a little bit suspect.
Yeah, I mean, this one we kind of got lucky because it just stalled out at the off the shore, and then took a turn and pivoted and went north and northeast from us. So we were right in the cone of destruction, I guess they call it, where they were basically ready to flatline us and it would have rolled over straight into the Gulf of Mexico and probably over to Louisiana or Texas at like a category 4 or 5. But luckily, the pressure system was able to kick it back up north, and we didn't have to deal with any of the actual, catastrophic disaster that's all the destruction that left in its wake, like it did at the Bahamas, because it basically just stalled out over there for a day and, devastated that place. And now they're, obviously the panic sets in right here. So everybody will run to the stores, you go and get your supplies, because nobody ever wants to prep ahead of time. They all want to go to the store immediately as soon as they're told it's a, state of emergency, and they're calling in, hurricane watches for the area. Everybody runs to the grocery store, and all these people that drink nothing but soda all day, now all of a sudden they need water. And, they clean out the water aisles and all the bread, and, all that stuff goes quick. And then, the batteries and flashlights, things like that, generators, all that stuff, gas, all that stuff becomes hard to come by. And luckily now that we're in the clear, and there's no, current, tropical storms or anything out there in the Atlantic that's coming our way. So now all these people have these excess supplies. Still like to go give them to, the Red Cross and, organizations like that to feel good about what they're doing. But a lot of people don't look into where that stuff actually goes. And the American Red Cross is probably one of the most crooked organizations in the world, right next to the Vatican. They're probably neck and neck, because they've been running those scams in Haiti and all over the world, where they just show up and they prey on people for their their empathy and their natural good-hearted nature of wanting to help out somebody that's in a terrible situation. But if you go back and you look at, even Puerto Rico was one of the most recent ones, where all these things that are getting sent over there are getting thrown out. They're never getting delivered to the people that actually need them. And the corrupt nature of human beings, where the intention is good, the will is good, but people involved are corrupt. So they're gonna ruin a good thing, no matter how good it is.
So were they were collecting money? Ben, you had said they were collecting money 3 days before the storm was even scheduled to hit.
They were doing paid ads, unless they've got a deal with Facebook. But they probably put, I would say, if it was going coast to coast like that, $1,000 to $10,000 behind a paid ad of like, Dorian's coming, here's the link to donate ahead of time. Not anything specific, like it was for Bahamas or Florida. So pretty vague. Wow. And that's how crazy it is. I mean, Haiti, we keyed in on that because there was so many plays into the Clinton Foundation and all that corruption, which I'm sure is also tied directly to the Red Cross at this point. But I had forgotten about the 47 tons of stuff that just was left to rot on the bay in Puerto Rico, where it wasn't things that weren't able to get to people who needed basic necessities. And if they are able to collect all that, get it shipped, collect that money, why don't they have the street team to do the distribution? They just get it all there, and then it's like, our hands are washed. So we got the product there, so they'll never look at how much we made away with. Two things that stick out in my mind. One could be a propaganda piece, but I think it was for when we were in Iraq or Afghanistan, and it was labeled Red Cross, these big bins, and then they were opened up and they had the stacks of cash in them, right? Like how you would transport millions of dollars secretly with aid, to whoever, whatever, fighting force you're trying to buy off. Or
was that a lethal weapon too?
I think so, probably. And then the other one was the dog food in Houston, where they were appealing to everyone for animals and all this stuff.
And he's from.
What do they do with tons and tons of dogs? Just pitched out to the to the dumpster, and it was shown by, again, people who have had enough of just our good nature being taken advantage of by a quick buy off on Facebook of kicking somebody $10. They know that that's what they're in it for, because no one's going to track that money, man. And this is another one of those grabs.
Yeah, they're in it for that instant endorphin rush of feeling good for themselves when they put, like, yeah, I just dropped this stuff off. But, you're better off going to somewhere like, man, you got to be grassroots with like the good deeds you're going to do, like Stevie does, and these people that go out there work at these animal shelters and places where where if you go and you put your time in or you put your money in, you can see it, be put to use. And these other ones, they're just looking for that instant endorphin rush of like, hey, I helped out somebody today. I sent $10 to Africa. I sponsored a zebra. I'm saving the rainforest. I'm doing all this. They're just preying on everybody's empathy and using that just to get that instant endorphin rush of, yeah, here, click here, donate $5 now. Save the people in the Bahamas. Oh yeah, let me donate my $5. I'm a better person than all these people have donated nothing. And then none of your money's going anywhere. It's going into some executive bonus fund at the end of the month.
Apparently, my internet's cutting out because they're ribbing me in the chat room. So you
need to hop in the car. That's what you need to get, like Sal is.
Apparently, this new router set up with the 4 fucking antennas.
What the fuck is that?
It sounded like very, very dramatic music, like transition into something dark and deep and ominous. By the way, I've been searching, and we talked about this, John, Ben and I at least.
For Chris Jericho's belt?
No, that's
that was taken away by the hurricane.
Jacuzzi. Everything's okay, so he'll find that he's on the case.
We wondered if it was American Top.
Now you could. Used to be where you can just kind of search for stuff and try to figure it out. And obviously when there's a weather event like this, and especially the hard right turn that this apparently took, we lost Sal, by the way. So everything's working out perfectly as planned. But what's the first thing, if you're a conspiracy person, John, what's the first thing you're going to look up if you see a hurricane's coming and then it just stays over the Bahamas for like a half a day? Then it moves. Then it takes a right. It has all these crazy motions to it. What are you going to search for?
The radar, the Doppler track. Is what I was searching for constantly, and I was having a hard time finding it. Believe it or not.
You're talking about HAARP, right?
Yeah, the HAARP stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I searched to see Hurricane Dorian HAARP just to see if anything came up with any opinions or if it was turned on or what. The whole first page it's literally one of the posts is, no, dumbass, the government did not control Hurricane Irma. Like, there's things that are all the Snopes type stuff. So, like, if I want to see what's going on with this.
I'm sorry, Stevie. What? You looked online and then it said, is the government controlling the weather? Are they responsible for Dorian? And it just said, no.
No, it said no, dumbass.
No. It's French. Dumas.
The Dumases.
So they were making sure that they hammered that in because they want you to know exactly how dumb you're being by thinking that.
Well, I mean, combine that with the media control, and what did we see 3 days out? We've never seen a storm like this. This is a cunt blaster. Your grandma's going to wake up from the dead, and she's going to get killed again, like fucking,
Zombie Bush.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, and all this, and sure, Bahamas did get wrecked. It looks like Legos strewn across the beach with all these boats and shit, but to see it not move in a certain way and then not see the information that the conspiracy side of us would look at just as simple, like, oh, let me see, and then it's scrubbed, which further they don't know how to play the game of kayfabe the right way of when they're trying to get by high-level people, because the piece of the puzzle that's missing is telling the true story of what's going on here, man. So, we always know these storms are coming, and then they want to use HAARP to maybe amp them up so they can sell their agenda of global warming and carbon credits and all this shit even more, man. I mean, that's the globalist picture of it all, right?
Did you see the gimmick they used with this one too? They're like, this storm is unpredictable. Other storms we can track. This one can't be tracked. But it was unpredictable until the point they were, we're positive. It's swinging north. Positive. Like, even at that point, it was going
to be a Meltzer like 6-star, and then they got knocked down to a Meltzer 2-star when it hits land in Florida and shit. So,
dude, they said it stayed over the Bahamas for 30 hours. I've never heard of that. That's
if we start moving that quickly, no way. No wind is going to move at 160 miles an hour and stay
and just stop.
Just stop.
What happened was he forgot the spot, so he grabbed the hole and he slowed down. That's exactly what happened.
It's a bet move.
It decided to retire in the Bahamas for 30 hours, and it moved on. No, but this is very, very strange, and that's the thing when we look at that, and Trump talking about nuking the hurricane,
them, yeah.
Well, I think he just said that because it's almost like the misdirection of the misdirection. Like the storm, where is Epstein's Island located? By the way, was it in the storm path
over there? I believe
it's
so.
West
Yeah,
Bahamas. Yeah.
It's off the Bahamas.
I'd like to see if there's any video or pictures overhead to see if it got hit or if it's the only thing left standing. That would be so weird.
Or a direct hit on that to be like, no more evidence. Fuck this evidence. We're sending her all out. So you know what I mean?
Possibly.
Yeah. Possible, yeah. And then you got everybody coming out there with the climate change and this and that. Climate change caused the hurricane. Of course.
The guy in Florida goes, you'll love this right here, John. You probably saw this on your news station. He goes, as a shoot on my local Fox station here in Orlando, whenever there was a hurricane update, they had public sponsor in the right corner. So even the hurricane updates are being monetized.
Yeah, of course. Everything.
I know
that guy, what's his name? The guy for the national, the NOAA guy, the national hurricane guy, Max, whatever his name is. He's still over because of the whole thing.
Oh,
they
that's
put him on
James
TV.
Cantori from the Weather Channel, I think you mean, right?
There was an older guy that he's been around since like Andrew and stuff. He's got like all the street cred down here. It's like, oh, once this guy says something, you gotta listen. I forget his name, Max something. I forget his name from the national hurricane.
That's what I was saying. Like up here, in Northeast. All of these fucking weathermen and weatherwomen have become these superstars now. And they all put it over and they're all like, oh, I've been a weather nerd since school. Like, there's no fucking thing. There is no such thing as a weather nerd that you're so excited about the weather. And I have a barometer in my yard. Who gives a fuck? Now you guys are waiting for snowstorms and everything else. You just can't fucking wait to put over what a weather nerd you are. And it's like, these people have become super celebrities because how many of these storms can we have? You know what I mean?
If you look back
storm
in
of the
history,
century.
Though, this is actually pretty normal. There's people posting stuff from 100 years ago where hurricanes hit Florida, the Bahamas, all this stuff.
And
Over
look how
1,000
those
people
motherfuckers made
died.
out.
So it happens. The thing I'm wondering is that the big raven, John, you probably saw this more than us. There's a guy at St. Augustine Beach on the beach telling everybody it's so unsafe for you to be here right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So all we have right now are TV anchor people and TV reporters, but you should not be here. You could die. And I'm like, you are there, you dumb motherfucker. How am I like, where's the disconnect? What makes you are you fucking Superman?
Yeah, he's there. It shows about 4 or 5, middle school age kids. They're there with their uncles and their aunts that brought him down. They're coming there to check out the wave, and they're hanging on to a stop sign and pretending they're about to get blown away. But there's some 8-year-old standing next to him picking his nose. If they just zoom out just a little bit.
Yeah. So that's the Operation Mockingbird media control, just to push the consumerism and fear porn even farther. And, I think if this was any worse, I think the Red Cross just sits there salivating, hoping it's as bad as possible.
Yeah.
So,
the fear mongering on this, like, if you turn on one of the local stations here, it's just designed to just scare the shit out of everybody that's watching it, lock you inside of your home, and you're just going to start praying that, the world doesn't end, because everything that they're bringing up, it's like Stevie said, they'll go to the guy on the beach that's standing there. But they're going to these guys on beaches after we were already in the clear talking about, they got all their keywords that hit, storm surge. We got to look out for the storm surge. We got beach erosion over here. This isn't going to be the same anymore. We got flash floods. You got to look out for flash floods. And, tornado warnings this year and that. Like, it's crazy fear mongering. And once you see it at like that level of like a national disaster kind of level, and like how it impacts people to immediately run to the stores, immediately grab these things off the shelf, immediately do this. They're Pavlov's dogs, man.
What was the new buzzword this year for the snow? Wasn't it thunder snow? Yeah, something like that. And then before that, it was like
vortex,
a frozen void,
polar vortex.
Polar vortex.
And snowpocalypse.
Every year, it's a new fucking catchphrase that they try to get over.
Yeah.
It all sounds like Colorado weed strains to me.
Hey, John, want to switch gears really quickly because you've been out there a few times since we had you on last time. Mm-hmm. Has Vegas surveillance and security or any of the other things that they had talked about been implemented? Like the stuff they talked about metal detectors, like or X-ray machines, like they have at the airports. They have Michael Chertoff heading that security company that's supposed to put out all that stuff after these Vegas shootings. Are they starting to, or have they already fully implemented all this police state stuff out there?
I didn't. I was just out there 2 weeks ago, and I didn't see anything that was new or different in like the security realm. And like I was walking around the Venetian a lot. What else? The Venetian.
Well, let me put it this way: we talked about this, Stevie. Because you talked about it with Billy Ray on your show, Talking Infinite Fringe, and he wrote about it, that these facial recognition and even iris metrics are going by the wayside because each of us are now going to be able to be tracked via our own heartbeat sensor, which is our own personal imprint, much like a fingerprint. What if that's already in play? Because we saw last week Apple apologize for Siri, keeping conversations. No charges being brought up. Just we're out in front of it. And we apologize for listening to you bang your wife and keeping, jacking off on our brakes to that shit. Same with Alexa. So the other side's, and it's all plugged into an NSA database someplace. So what if it's already implemented where it is the heartbeat monitor for every single person, and we're not going to see it in a camera? It could be something completely different.
It could be. It could be. I mean, the UFC, they cranked it up. It was actually kind of crazy because when I went to the Newark show, Colby brought the Trump family with him. So the Secret Service had to come there, and that was like one of the first UFCs I went to where they made sure everybody that was coming in the building went through a metal detector, and like the security was like the roof for that, which was kind of wild for like a sporting event. But I mean, yeah, I could see them already having that kind of technology in Vegas because I didn't see anything like that, like metal detectors, extra security presence, anybody that was walking around with extra dogs or anything like that. Like I didn't see any of that. It looked pretty much normal to me, but you can clearly see if you just walk around. They've got these little bulbs hanging from the ceiling, these little black bulbs. Each one of those is a 360 camera, and I wouldn't doubt that they're loaded with the best technology in the world inside those cameras in the hotels.
By the way, wait a minute. We got breaking news. Sal is breaking Sal. Look out! There's brakes are coming up, Sal. Just,
we're actually breaking.
Little episode of Cops or something going on.
It's too Sal, too furious over there.
Goon.
You passed the Porsche.
Fucking twat.
Is that what that was about?
Fucking twat. Because he had to cut around me and cut me off. Fucking asshole.
John, let our fans know where they can follow you, man. I know you're doing American Top Team stuff so much with the Trump regime as Colby rises in the ranks and defends his title and gets more heat all the way around, man. What else is going on with you, dude?
Oh, man. Got a bunch of shows coming up in September and October lined up down here for CCW, PPW, and then I'll probably do the Halloween show in the end of October. I got to get that all squared away. Just running around. You can catch me at Coastal Championship Wrestling. Either, I think September 14th is at the Pompano Festival Flea Market. Then we got September 20th or 21st, I believe it is, in Orlando. I forget the name of that promotion. Puerto Rican promotion. Conquest Lucha, I believe it's called. And then we got October 5th, the big show with Coral Springs. Pablo Marquez against Blake Bowman is happening, and that's going to be October 5th. I'll be there for that. Brooklyn Brawler will be in the house. Then the next day, October 6th, I'll be wrestling a 6-man tag with Blake and King Mo.
Booked like Papa Don.
Yeah,
no,
Blueprint Pro Wrestling.
You just sucked yourself.
October 12th, I'll be in Florida down at Ronin. So maybe we can meet up.
Right, that is right down the street from my apartment. You're at the Broward County
College.
College, BCC North. Yeah, literally, I could walk there. from my apartment.
Cool.
Right next to the Cheetah Strip Club.
We can.
Well, if there's any other bookings that he can get on that weekend, please don't hesitate to book them.
Let me know. Send me the dates, Papa, and I'll get you hooked up.
Look at that. He eats them all, baby. That's how
the bookie monster.
That's right. Bookie. Yummy.
Everybody knows.
We appreciate you, dude, being our man on the street down there, and definitely batten down the hatches and drink some whiskey for us and get through her all safe, brother. And even if you got to go back and steal that AEW title a second time, I say fucking go for it, bro.
Why not? Appreciate you guys, man. Keep hunting out there for the truth. Keep fighting for it.
Cool, man. All right, I'll catch up with you soon, John. Thanks, man.
All right, later. Take care, guys.
Later, bud.
And we lost Sal again.
Yeah, I like how he's in there, man. He just punches and he does a run in from the road and then punches out. Check out and all those promotions down there. If you're a Florida head, absolutely you want to get involved with American Top Team and also be 1 degree of separation from Trump. Those are the heads to know right now, dude, because they're tight with them, dude. They fly in helicopters, getting wined and dined when they're in New York City and the whole nine. So I always appreciate having him on, and as he does for our wrestling knowledge and applies it. Stevie.
Yes.
Coming soon to the battlefield, robots that can kill.
They're not here yet?
Wallops Island, a remote marshy pit of land along the eastern shore of Virginia, near a famed national refuge for horses, is mostly known as a launch site for government and private rockets. But it also makes for a perfect quiet spot to test revolutionary weapons technology, because horses like revolutionary weapons technology.
They love loud sounds and fireworks, and
they can't get enough. If a fishing vessel had steamed past the area last October, the crew might have glimpsed a half dozen or so 35-foot-long inflatable boats darting through the shallows and thought little of it. But if the crew members had looked closely, they would have seen that no one was on board. The engine throttle levers were shifting up and down as if controlled by ghosts. The boats were using high-tech gear to sense their surroundings, communicate with one another, and automatically position themselves. So in theory, a 50 caliber machine gun that could be strapped to their bows could fire a steady stream of bullets to protect troops landing on a beach. The secretive effort, part of a Marine Corps program called CMOB, was meant to demonstrate the vessels equipped with cutting-edge technology could soon undertake lethal assaults without a direct human hand at the helm. It was successful. Sources familiar with the test describe it as a major milestone in the development of new wave artificial intelligent weapon systems soon to make their way to the battlefield. Lethal, largely autonomous weaponry isn't entirely new. A handful of such systems have been deployed for decades, though only in limited defensive roles, such as shooting down missiles hurling toward ships. With the development of AI-infused systems, the military is now on the verge of fielding machines capable of going on the offensive, picking out targets and taking lethal action without direct human input. Sal, I know you like that.
I do like that. And ironically, that's what I call those 4 broads. I call them the C mob, but I spell it with the letter C.
Excellent.
Much different reasons. But yeah, that's kind of cool. That was that an email? Was that somebody's email?
No, that was off of Drudge Report 4 hours ago.
Nice. And where were these?
This is in Virginia. They're testing openly on this coastal little island that is home to wild horses, where they're apparently nuking them and testing Terminators on them. I'm sure that they're not saying, "Hey, should we shoot some of these wild horses out here?"
Let's be honest. That's just a misdirection spot. It's really next to the Dippin' Donuts in Eastern Pennsylvania. That's where it is.
Some great pics of donuts today on Dippin' Donuts Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Very delicious.
Well, if they aren't going to have any success with the robots, they can always just bring people back from the dead, according to the other article that you were talking about. What the fuck, man?
Let's get it going, man.
Yeah, I think that's probably our last story for that. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. So I watched a little bit of this, and we had talked about chimeras. And
there he goes again.
Am I gone? Am I back?
Back.
Okay. We talked about what they're doing with genetic engineering in China, cloning and whatnot. But then about 6 months ago, we had seen. Am I here? You guys keep speeding up and slowing down. I just want to make sure I'm here.
You're back.
Okay. They were able to inject stem cells into removed pig brains. They removed 6 of them from butchered pigs, put them in a saline solution, and then had a steady stem cell flow into them, and were actually 6 hours after removing them completely block some brain activity from what they were doing. Now, this brings up all types of issues, religious, HIPAA, organ donation when someone is actually dead or where there isn't. It's not like they were, and consciousness. Even if you're talking the PETA level of like these pigs were butchered, we took their brains out. Now we brought back consciousness to their brains, and they're freaking out because their bodies aren't there. But they said they didn't bring back consciousness in the soft touch story that I saw on YouTube, where it was the softball to people.
They just brought back. They brought back electronic impulses, basically.
Right.
Frankenstein. They didn't bring back any consciousness. There was no movement. It was just the electronic impulse. And this is no different than when they, what's that guy, LeBlanc in Morristown, in Jersey, where this guy was a fucking murderer and a rapist, so they killed him. And then they hooked up electrodes to his face and all of his organs and shit, just to see how much electricity they needed to motivate and motorize the human body. And this was back in the 1800s. So they've gone no farther.
Well, this was to be able to clock, dude. I think hooking up some electrodes to a guy's nuts who's dead versus chopping him up, taking his brain out, and then running and getting activity.
No, I'm kidding, obviously, but it's. So I don't understand. I don't understand what the problem is. I can't. This would be great.
Well, this is it. So let me tie it in, as Stevie did such a great segue, to the transhumanist stuff. And he talked with Billy Ray, and he dropped Ray Kurzweil, who's the head of Google, who wants to live forever. And they're backing this, in their sub companies, this technology. And that pig thing was 2 years ago, and the story dropped 6 months ago. Here's the story today. Trial looking to bring clinically dead back to life. In something frightening, how well classic fiction predicts the future. For instance, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury describes earbuds well before they were ever developed. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is another terrifying example. In the book, Frankenstein experimented with resuscitation using dead tissue reanimation and treatment that was experimented with real scientists in the 1800s, as Sal just absolutely was. But this new trial may be a reset button for the body to erase cell damage and stimulate tissue regeneration. According to those involved, the research may lead to complex tissue and organ regeneration, disease reversion, and even biological age reversal. The trial will be run by Indian specialist Dr. Himanshi Bansal in a biotech company called Revital Life Sciences and BioQuark Inc. I would maybe invest in both those. 20 patients are subject to the study. They're all brain dead, which is considered clinical death.
Wrestling fans, huh?
Yeah, and are only kept alive through life support. The test will involve injecting brain stem cells and peptides into their brains bi-weekly over 6 weeks, and a series of other treatments, including lasers and nerve stimulation techniques, which have brought patients out of comas in the past. The researchers believe the stem cells will follow a similar process salamander cells use to regrow limbs, that is, differentiating into functional brain cells. The patient will be monitored for several months through the brain imaging equipment for signs of regeneration, especially in the upper spinal cord, where the brain stem controls breathing and heartbeat. Quote, this represents the first trial of its kind and another step toward the eventual reversal of death in our lifetime, said Dr. Ira Pastor, the CEO of BioQuark. Quote, to undertake such a complex initiative, we are combining biological regenerative medical tools with other existing medical devices typically used for stimulation of the central nervous system in patients with other severe disorders of consciousness. We hope to see results within the first 2 to 3 months. The initial stage is called First in Human Neuroregeneration and Neuroreanimation. It will take place at Anupam Hospital in Rajapur, Adrukakand, India. Wow. So here we are from pigs, which is always going to be the let's do it on humans next, because the brain size and body size are so similar nervous system wise. Step away from doing it on chimps with more consciousness, and people love bacon more than they like eating pig or eating chimps. Here we are with 20, not even, corpses. We're doing it on straight people who are brain dead. Are we going to have an awakening moment? And, here we are. God made man in his own image. Are we waking up? Are we able to defeat death? Where are we going in this with the greater transhumanists? And, what does this do to any type of religion after this and afterlife? I leave it to my Christian brothers.
I have a 4-second clip that sums it up.
Sometimes dead is better.
Sometimes dead is better. You motherfuckers ever watch Pet Sematary, the good one? My God. Are you fucking kidding me? Did you ever watch, like, when that little fucking baby came back to life, when you fucking, Daddy, I want to play. Fuck, man. I'm going to start driving a tractor trailer. Just take care of some of these people. Fuck, man. This is no good. Come on, Papa Don. There's no way you can be for this.
Okay. No, hell no. You out of your mind. One first bid. Send me the name of those companies. I can look into investing. Maybe they need some mortgages or something that can help them out. We can swindle a deal. 2, I was serious. Send me the names. 2, we have a problem with population as it is right now. 7 billion people in the world. If we're going to freaking revive the dead like Stevie does in the video game and everyone comes to life, how are we going to freaking feed everybody? Where's everyone going to live?
Feed on us.
Listen, here's the problem. No, stop your nonsense.
What?
Food and sustainability isn't the problem at all.
Food is not a problem. Tell that to freaking starving Marvin over
pretzels, Sal. They're going to come for those pretzels up on the cabinet above you.
And there was nobody to stop them.
That's a poem,
It's a poem I heard. Somebody wrote that, and then when they came for my Miller's pretzels, there was no one to stop them.
Except the brass knuckle to the skull.
So here's the thing, and don't be ridiculous with this. They're not going to resurrect everyone. Okay, they're not going to resurrect in the billions and the millions and keep all of the disgusting people who are alive now just wasting space and air and food. They're not going to keep them alive.
So the Rockefellers are going to come back to life.
Right, they're going to keep those assholes alive. So this isn't going to infringe on the world's population by anything.
You don't think that if they did this, in a matter of years, there's some black market product's going to come out, and then they're going to try to sell this to the average Joe, and the average Joe's going to pay thousands upon thousands for some kind of generic product similar to the Rockefeller or the freaking Rothschild.
I can only hope, man.
Yeah, come on.
I don't think I think you're looking short-sighted here, dude. They will want it for everybody, but they'll want it for themselves because they're already in power. You want a slave for 75 years, or do you want him for 500 years?
But again, this is going to barely put any kind of a strain on any of the world's resources.
I agree. Well, that's all hype of like we can solve the food crisis in a year if we want with hydroponics.
Start eating people.
Vertical growing, easily. So we don't have enough to go around. We definitely do, and can with the new bodies engineer, the right way to do things and put those people to work in the right ways to be sustainable energy and food wise. Maybe not waste wise, but we can find a way to fix that too.
So now let me ask you a question. Let's pose this one.
That will never happen.
So what if upon this, so now let's say they need to keep a steady stream of stem cells. Okay. Not a Ryback 11 visits to Columbia type, but you have to wear a patch that delivers stem cells. It's basically, think of Bane. You got to have a little cartridge on you to keep these stem cells pumping into you. Okay. But at the same time, now what if doing that, what if that turns around and says, okay, well, now you need less food because these stem cells are nourishing you. So now is it okay? Because it's not a tax on us, on anything?
That's a good and valid point. It could. I mean, if you can prohibit someone from eating and not infringe on someone else and become a liability to society, it could work. But what the atheist over here said before, when you were out and about, running people over in your car,
I was gallivanting.
The atheist says, the Lord made us in His image. Well, do you honestly think if
to me,
religion?
The Lord is the Anunnaki in that, and it's just nothing more than aliens doing biotech.
That's fine, but you asked the Christian point of view, so I'm giving you a Christian point of view.
That was your first mistake.
So here, the Bible verse, right? They say that the man should not eat from the tree of knowledge, right? And what happens when they did? Adam and Eve got thrown out of the Garden of Eden, and they sustained pain for the rest of their life, or whatever. So, what if the tree of knowledge is just a metaphor? What if it wasn't really an apple? What if they try to take a step to become gods, and that's what happened? The rapture occurred. What's not to say it can happen again? You know what I'm saying?
Well, number one, it was fake. Number two, the whole thing is a metaphor.
And number three, stop making noise in the background because it's a professional podcast there, Jabroni.
Well, I'm sorry. I just got my new mug, so I'm happy.
Oh, nice.
A little psyched. It's our new sponsor.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you like that? Did you like that ogre I made for you?
You what?
Do you like that ogre I made for you?
Oh, that was for me? Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, I fucking popped huge for that.
I just finished another dude with a sword, too. I don't know what the fuck.
But yeah, again, every time like Papa Dumb, everything you just said is what every theorist has come out and said, that every tale in the Bible has been a metaphor for something else. Like think about what was it, the cherubs and the seraphim and all that shit, right? Cherubs, weren't they said to be some kind of like giant metal winged thing, not some little fucking funny naked fat kid flying around? There was like, didn't like Jesus ride on him, or somebody rode on one of them? It was like a gigantic thing, and they had like a flaming sword, which sounds like that this flaming sword can move across for miles or whatever the deal is. Sounds a lot like a laser coming out, like a red laser eye. So what if these seraphim or the cherubs were drones of some sort? And it wasn't,
Listen,
you know what I mean? So it's all.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, but the problem is, you said it best many episodes ago. We only can fathom what we can conceive.
Right.
Right. Yep. So your analogy right now, 20 years ago, wouldn't make any sense. 50 years ago wouldn't even be. You can't even make your analogy because there weren't lasers, there weren't drones. But because of the time and place that we are right now, your analogy makes some kind of comparable sense. 50 years from now, your analogy would be obsolete. There'll be something else that we can compare it to and use that as a metaphor. So who knows what is what and whether the Bible is the truth or not. Personally, I feel that, the Bible's a work because it's been manipulated by man. Doesn't necessarily mean that God's not true, not real. So that's just my point of view.
Well, I mean, the definition of that's where it goes with this stuff. Of what is God at the end? Is God an alien force that did bioengineering, or is God?
God is the creator.
Is watching you jack off and is going to fucking
Tyler?
What is Tyler? The creator? Like the creator of man, or everyone wants to believe they created the universe, because the creator of man is nothing more than engineering some type of chimpanzee into a more sentient being.
No. We are not related to chimps whatsoever. If any animal is close to us in any nature, it's dolphins or pigs.
Why would you say that's not real? Why would you say that's not real when in that story they're taking salamander DNA to make regenerative properties? All we're doing is figuring that out, and that the aliens who didn't want us to have that knowledge and kept us at a certain level, however, made us in their image, and as we grow or are given that knowledge, that just dispels like the whole, no, we couldn't be that. Well, if we're taking salamander DNA, we absolutely could have been chimps and had that DNA made into a new
Listen, evolution is a work. It's not true. Okay, Darwinism is a work, and you know what? The giants in Sardinia proves them wrong right there. If you believe in giants, then there's no way you can believe in evolution, because that contradicts exactly what Darwinism stated. And more importantly, there's no missing link. We never found the missing link between his theory from the beginning and where we're at right now. That missing link that's never been found to connect both sides of the spectrum doesn't exist. So it's a theory. That's all it is, and it's been taught in school as fact.
The Nephilim stuff isn't the Nephilim stuff is fallen angels mating with humans who could have been created by them. And if you're talking fallen angels to a Stone Age, Bronze Age people, you know, who've been told some story of where they came from, as pat them on the head, the Creator made you, and rise and praise them, and then these other dudes come down and start banging out the chicks to make giants. You know, like that's just another alien race, possibly, that's categorized in a book that's been bastardized for thousands of years.
Listen, if you think that many years ago people were going around in twigs and berries and spears and loincloths, you have another thing coming. Our world has been started and resetted. It reaches a certain level and it resets itself over and over and over again, just like the Matrix. Okay, that's how the pyramids were built. That's how stuff that we're uncovering every day comes into fruition there. And all these supposedly scholars that went to Harvard and Yale, Harvard, and all these other places that think they know anything, at the end of the day, know shit. Because what happens is they get proven wrong, and everything that they were presenting to the world as facts ends up being incorrect because of something that's found next week or 6 months from now or 10 years from now. And at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer that there was a start. People progressed. They hit a wall. Stuff happened, and it reset, and we started all over again to see whether or not we're going to make the same mistakes over and over and over again, and yet we always do.
And isn't that start in my version, that restart?
I'm sorry, too much background noise for the unprofessional one over there. It's Hurricane Dorian hitting the podcast right now.
Restart, nothing. The Planet X coming through and fucking over humanity again. Like, to me, that's the story of us. That we are engineered slave colony. That whatever they left, whatever the native.
Why leave?
Maybe
who knows what they had waiting somewhere else, man.
Yeah, maybe they're seeding multiple, you know what I mean, universes, galaxies. Like, that's their gimmick. Or maybe they're out there just kicking it now, or amongst us still. And that's what happened. It just seems more plausible than a fantasy story of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost when you relabel it as the scientific method. And then this story of being able to regenerate and control life and destiny brings into question of all that. You hear it in every rap thing, the black man is a god. But really, we have the ability to be gods, which means everlasting life through science, because we can figure out how to regenerate ourselves and maybe not go 70 years, but maybe a solid Yoda 800.
But you might be right. Only time will tell, and obviously only
long game.
Yeah, long game, exactly. But
what they're gonna do?
Eternal life doesn't necessarily. Eternal life doesn't necessarily mean that it's in the physical form. Animals change. Caterpillars become butterflies. Who's not to say that this is just stage one of our life and we transform or transcend to another plane afterwards? Nobody knows.
Well, the thing is here with the pig brains is taking them out if it's a human brain, just like Krang putting it into a transhumanist. He is thirsty.
Damn, that dog works stiff, dude.
Get the peanut.
I just gave him his pill. That's why he's thirsty.
Stevie, where does this sit with you as far as you want to be?
This bores me.
Okay.
It doesn't actually.
Wow.
It doesn't actually bore me.
Wow. Jeez.
The dog
Either your dog's drinking or you're watching
than anything on Raw or SmackDown put together.
You're watching someone getting back shots. Really nice.
Jesus.
What's that?
Someone's getting pounded in the background.
Oh, we lost Ben. Jesus Christ. How much fucking water do you have in your house?
That's like California has a drought because of his dogs.
See, now one of my dogs, they're not mine, my wife's dogs. Let me just clarify that. It'll drink and then it'll every single time
throw up.
Start gagging and throwing up and then go back and drink.
Because he doesn't know when he's going to get water again. He hasn't shook that off. He thinks he's going to never get water again.
Do the nips in the basement do the same thing?
Whoa. Jesus.
I know. I don't know that term you're speaking about.
Oh, come on, dude. Stop playing babyface.
I got to put some heat on the chat room with whatever marks are in here tonight trying to start shit. There's one or two of them. I'm not going to self-view. But don't put them over. Just fucking continue on with what's going on. That's not what we're here for, to deal with bitch-ass motherfuckers like that.
See, they don't go in the chat room. Shit gets crazy.
Well, because you can't be in the chat room, because on Saturday, the 14th and Sunday, the 15th of September, CERN will open its doors to the public.
I know. I sent that to you guys. I wanted a field trip.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's get a field trip going.
Only in the continental United States of America. Sir.
That's what I was hoping. I said, what would be amazing is if we got so many fucking bits, we could all take a trip to CERN and go and see that it's just there to help out mankind.
Sal, you're talking crazy talk. I know astronaut Sal.
I wish we could raise them to go to France. To go to CERN, that would be fucking incredible. And it almost
I wouldn't
sucks
go in the French side. Fuck that.
Well, the fact that here's the opportunity where we should be able to call Chainsaw right now. She makes a call, and some asshole producer puts up $20,000, which is nothing.
Well, hey, they got Sally Field to go on there to fucking stand like a dope and look at her brother.
Here's your 14. Here's where you can go to CERN, open fucking house. What motherfucking more do you want? For an awesome pilot episode to talk everything from Mandela Effect to portals opening to AI Geordie Rose, and like we got to kiss these people's asses to do anything. It's fucking mind blowing.
Imagine the visual.
I got something here.
Imagine the visual. We walk into CERN and everyone looks over their shoulder and they go, "Sal!" Like Norton. Cheers.
Be perfect.
Got to give him the kayfabe.
It's your favorite Jericho clip where he's looking very intently at the monsters.
Like a dope.
I wonder where my belt is.
What a fucking Oh God.
My favorite part is
we have a new episode of Breaking
What about
Sound.
they'll live on in infamy, because I don't know if we can actually take it seriously at that point. If this backwoods Louisiana guy or whatever version is at CERN in Switzerland turns around and goes, "I have my special heat sensing device," and it's an iPhone.
See, yeah. Well, that would have to be one of us. One of us morons would have to go, "I have my special heat sensing device," and then to have people go, "There's an app you can get. It's like $20. You can just get the app. So you guys are stupid." Sorry. I got an idea. How about the channel who is probably paying for everything that you're doing buys you a real fucking remote control so you can pretend that's something? Asshole.
Like a FLIR camera for like $300.
Nah, that's a lot of money. I'd rather have a cell phone app.
Don't get so heated, brother.
Actually, it wasn't even a cell phone app. It was just a cell phone. It wasn't even like an app that was open. I love that part.
I'll never forget. I was going down to Florida that whole time, and as soon as I get off, I get to my parents' house, and I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to unwind Sci-Fi Channel Jericho. Hunting monsters? What the fuck is this? And it was just everything we had pitched. Every single thing we had pitched. And I said, how is this? It's already done. It was produced. It was already on the Sci-Fi Channel at 2 a.m. Thank goodness. Ugh.
See, if you would have called Chainsaw and she would have heard the dog licking the water like that, she would have been like,
You can have your show. Just give me a case of peanut butter and your dog for an hour.
That's also what it sounds like when she finger blasts herself to Stevie, by the way.
Ben, you've talked to her last. Why don't you give her a call?
I will. Between 30,000 and 40,000.
Do it.
You
won't call her right now on air. You won't.
Not a hair on your chin.
I don't have her number.
It. He won't do it. He won't call and say, "Hey."
You don't want to burn. Listen, he's got some.
She's not going to be able to hear you guys.
Listen, Ben has a possible
I'll
show.
Call her back on my phone through the Rodecaster. That way I can write it off.
Yeah, go sit down. Did you give her number out? Is that
555 Steve.
Were you docking her?
There we go.
She's gonna have us fucking arrested.
Good. Finally do something for us.
Hi there. Alan. I can't get to the phone right now.
Right to voicemail.
Number and a brief message. I'll get as soon as I can. Have a great day. Bye. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording.
This is your friend, the astronaut. We're stuck up here.
Hey, Lisa, how's it going? It's Ben from the Conspiracy Horsemen. Just giving you a call. We actually saw a story that CERN is having an open house on the 14th and 15th. We're wondering about maybe doing a pilot last minute over there. But if you want to get a hold of us, just reach out to Stevie. I know you got his number and email, and see what's going on. We'd like to touch base. We got a couple ideas, and I just want to catch up anyway. So talk to you soon. Thanks, y'all. Don't tell me I won't do stuff. I'll do stuff.
Yeah, way to follow through and give him a
Stevie.
That is how I was going to say. That is how every bar fight in Kentucky started.
Steve's hot at me right now. He's way hot.
Steve's sending everybody an apology email. I'm so sorry.
No,
I apologize right now.
I'm sorry for Ben Doors, the producer's actions.
Ben and the boys were just having some fun.
Yeah. See, now you guys got me heat with Stevie. It's all over.
So join the club, buddy. Just join the club.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to join this club. North Carolina man claims he spotted 3 Bigfoots this past week.
Would it be Big Feet?
No.
The man encountered nearly 10 minutes of what he described as an encounter with 3 Bigfoots in the hills in Hickory, North Carolina. Man shares his video claiming the encounter with 3 Bigfoots in the hills. Doug Teague, I want to reach out and try and get this guy on, said he shot a video 2 weeks ago while retrieving game cameras he set up in a wooded area of McDowell County. Teague said he was walking back to his truck with his dog, Crazy Daisy, when the encounter happened. A rock was thrown. My dog chased it. I just kind of stopped, took the phone out, and gazed at the hill. He said that's when he spotted 3 different Bigfoots watching him from the hill. He said he recorded about 10 minutes of video during the encounter and shared a snippet with NBC Charlotte. I was like a giddy school kid, he said, just nervous, heart beating. It was crazy. He's a member of the Catawba Valley Bigfoot Research Club in McDowell County. The county's considered a hotspot for Bigfoot sightings, though the path leading to his larger-than-life creature often goes cold. Scientists argue there's no evidence of Bigfoot existing, and many consider it a myth. But the video is there. There's something moving around with a domed head and big-ass lats and shoulders. I don't know if you saw it or not, but
I'm showing the video right now.
Are you showing
it? Ryback? Who was getting adjusted?
He's checking out the new Impossible Burger and giving his review on it up at the top of the hill. Looking at it, there is movement, there is stuff there, but the part that sticks out to me is this guy is a Bigfoot hunter, part of the whole gimmick, and he happens to come across the triple,
Well, I also give old boy give him props for first thing he does is whip out his fucking camera phone.
Yeah, I do too.
So good for him.
And Crazy Daisy, spotted him first. So
at least she's safe.
Yeah,
Crazy Daisy's home safe. That's the important part of this story.
He said they threw a rock down at her, and that's what really sparked me, where they just would have walked by. And in that video in the slow motion, we only get to see 1 to 2 minutes, maybe tops. and he says 10 minutes. So is there something real there, more that's about to be released? I'm not sure, but I think this is a guy, Stevie, especially with your connection in the Bigfoot Museum there. Maybe we'll do a Conspiracy Horsemen Bigfoot update special, something along those lines.
Road trip.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I put out an email to and a call to the owner of the Bigfoot Museum because I was trying to interview the author of the Missing 411 books, but we didn't connect. But I'm up there quite a bit now, so I'm just gonna keep stopping by because he really is, dude. He's right in line with what we believe. I mean, he threw little Easter eggs out there, and I'm sure he might even have this guy pretty soon talking because it's a drive from North Carolina down to Georgia. It's not far.
Well, here's the thing too. A lot of people they discredit shit when he released 2 minutes of this footage and then but there was a 10-minute thing. Well, why didn't you show it? Okay, so here's the deal. So have you ever been somewhere in a room and somebody comes into the room with you and you don't see them but you know somebody's there? How do you describe that to someone? Like if you have your phone out and you feel like somebody is right next to you, but there's nothing you see on your camera. How do you, what do you know what I mean? Like, how do you describe that to an audience? You can't. So when people discredit this and they go, oh, well, he showed, he has 10 minutes of footage, but he only could show 2 because 2's, all you got, and you can't describe the feeling of danger or dread. There's that little part in your fucking brain that tells you, get the fuck out of here. There's something bigger and scarier than you here.
Yeah, that people don't even, if you've never experienced what they call buck fever as hunting, there's something that just happens, man. When you're in there and you're in the zone, I've talked on the stalk, and those ghost deer just walk out of nowhere, and instantly that adrenaline rush straight to your head is crazy, dude.
Your lizard brain is telling you to get the fuck out of Dodge for a reason.
Yeah.
And you have no idea why, because we're all evolved. We're all, nothing's gonna hurt. What can happen to us?
We don't fool ourselves because we say we have five senses, right?
Right.
But what you just described is an absolute sense of perception without it. We even say things like sense of balance. We don't count sense of balance as one of the 5 senses. So what you're explaining is something that we just haven't labeled in the greater ability of humans.
And the Native Americans have always thrown out that there's been some sort of, in some of the legends, that Bigfoot has some sort of kind of like a mind scrambling effect, like an EMP pulse that he just gives off. Like it's an area of effect that he gives out. When he shows up, your brain starts going crazy because it's your brain fighting. Like, I want to get the fuck out of here. So,
and who's to say that they don't have that just based on look at the elongated skull? Who's to say their brain doesn't have some type of extra,
how do you know they have an elongated skull? We've never seen a Bigfoot.
I mean,
fair description.
Oh, yeah.
But sorry, I don't mean to rain on your parade.
No, I mean that's a point in the conspiracy. But if you're going to the original film and stuff like that, you can see where.
And I'll put this out every time. The fact that we fear spiders. Okay, we fear a thing on this planet that is 1,000,000 times smaller than we are, for no reason. I don't buy it. There's a reason we fear spiders and bugs, just for a reason, because they were much bigger. They hunted us at one point. It's in our fucking brains.
What?
It's in our brains to be afraid of these things. Snakes, spiders, bugs. People see things and they go, and let me ask you, why? Why would you be afraid of a fucking thing this big?
I'll tell you
why. Why?
Because it's human nature to fear the unknown.
Why?
Because you don't know. Same reason why everything, when it was night outside back in the day, people thought God was mad at them.
Dude, what don't you know about a spider?
Well, obviously you're saying that from the outside looking in. But if some kind of bug that's 3 inches or size of a penny comes flying at your face,
right,
your first reaction is to duck.
Because millions of years ago, those things would kill you. It's stuck in our brains.
No, dude. I think it's just instinctive.
Fight or response. It's an interesting thing of like
the fact that you're saying it's instinct is proving the point. It is instinct. I'm agreeing.
It's self-defense instinct, just like everything else in our body. We get goosebumps. It's a freaking defense mechanism. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that 10,000 years ago the common spider was 10 feet big and compared to us can eat us up like a fly.
No, I'm just saying it was a bigger threat than it is now. Because now people freak out and people lose their minds.
Oh, I thought you meant it was physically bigger. I apologize.
No. I do think that years ago, millions of years ago, they were bigger. They were much bigger. But I would say something along the size of like a chihuahua or like a large cat.
Like the bird-eating spider?
Bigger than that, way bigger. And I feel like
Lord of the Rings stab you through the heart, and
Lebeth, like
that. Something he's talking about something from a time long ago where it could have been, post dinosaurs or man did.
There's a reason we fear the fuck out of it for no reason. There's a reason why that thing is our immediate nightmare. That snakes, like we've all bats. There's just we've automatically called them into our nightmares as these things are terrific to us, like horrifying.
So what about people who are afraid of dogs and cats?
Again,
I think that's more off of something happened to them traumatic.
Bad experience.
Yeah. Yep. No one looks at dogs and goes, out of nowhere, like because they're cute and cuddly as opposed to weird and,
Like a cat. Yeah, weird like a cat. I got it.
Alien. Steve, you still mad at me?
No, I'm not mad at you. I just haven't looked at LinkedIn in a while. I got a lot of requests on here to connect. Co-president of WWE.
Did you tell him you're retired?
Co-president of WWE wanted to connect with me. She's the one that sold all her stock shares, so I'm going to get the bottom. I'll get to the bottom.
Maybe she wants to do the podcast thing. They were talking about that, man, and then that kind of went cold. I think that'll be the truth.
I'm not mad at you. I wasn't mad at you, but I can't even remember what I was mad about. What was I mad about?
So why were you mad?
With chainsaw.
Just because you wanted to. Dude, never.
Now I remember why I was mad.
Never be mad about that.
No,
but dude, I guarantee. I'm looking at my phone from time to time, saying there may be a call before the end of the show, and it's coming through the roadcaster.
I see that there's a voicemail. I don't see who the missed call was from, though, so it could have been her.
Hey Ben, is George there?
Do you just have a giant hatchet wound on for the caller ID?
You know what I think it would be, and this is just like where they don't realize we're workers, and they'll be like, "Oh, we were just talking about you earlier today, and I was going to give you a call." Isn't that weird? Yeah,
that's so crazy.
Weird. As weird as a lie.
I'll tell you what, if she calls back and she can make a call and get us $20,000 to go to France next weekend, we're fucking going. So be ready.
Absolutely.
Any bookings.
Hey Steven, I was just sitting here. I just looked at the batteries and my pants are off. I was thinking about you. Isn't that weird?
I was in the middle of yoga. I was just thinking about you.
People in the chat room were asking me they won't believe in Bigfoot until I see one in the woods hunting. I've never seen any sign. I've looked, whether it's for things stacked the right way and all that. So I've never seen footprint or anything.
Can I say something?
Believe it.
To the people in the chat room. Don't be a fucking idiot. Okay? Meaning, we tell you people, don't believe anything that you read, and only half, if that, of what you see. And now you people who are listening to this show, thank you for listening. And you've been with us, maybe from day 1, maybe from day 50, who knows? You're saying, well, I don't believe in Bigfoot because I haven't seen it, and I'll only believe it when I see it. You fucking Mark. Listen, don't believe anything you see. Plain and simple.
Or just show them the video. Show them the video of the tree getting thrown.
If you have faith, if your gut instinct's telling you something's real, most likely it is. Okay? And that's it. That's the assessment that you only believe in yourself. Okay? And believe what your body's telling you. Like we were talking about fight or flight before. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's your gut instinct. That's instincts kicking in. With this, you don't believe in Bigfoot? If you're in the woods and you hear some weird sound, what are you going to say? Well,
I don't believe it's Bigfoot.
I don't believe in it.
I didn't see it.
I haven't seen anything yet. I keep hearing it. Sounds weird.
I believe that, and the reaction of that other hillbilly dude from Kentucky, that seemed pretty real. This guy's, in the small clip we saw, could be faked, and the fact that he's part of a Bigfoot foundation makes it a little suspect, but not, because he's on the lookout, ready to go, or maybe he knows where the hot spots are. And if you're a real hunter, you're going to be like, oh, I found sign, I'm not going back there. No, you're fucking going right back to where that area is. Where they're
exactly.
So he very well may know that and hit it at the right time. That's any good hunter.
Just been
He's
asked
gonna
what's movie
stalk.
trailer coming up.
Oh, that looks awesome, dude.
Hey, by the way, here's what I wanted to say. I think we said it before, and I said it to the guy, the owner of the Bigfoot Museum. The people that don't believe in Bigfoot, or they're not going to believe it until they see it. It's a very important question. How many times and how often do you go hunting? How many times do you go camping in the woods? How much time do you spend in the deep woods? Not going from, a trail to a bridge back to the parking lot.
Park. Yeah,
I'm saying
deep wood.
how much, Ben, for a weekend where you're there day and night and you're engrossed in the environment. How many Bigfoot expeditions have you been on where you're there for a week? That's the stuff I'm talking about. I can't speak on there's nothing up there in the woods. There's no mound in Ohio. I never saw the mound. It doesn't exist. There's pictures on the internet. There's people that have seen it. There's people that think it is Nephilim. But no. Until I see it, I don't believe in it. But I'm not going to Ohio. Like, what does that mean? Right. You know what I mean? Unless you're going to go and try to seek whether or not this actually exists, you should be 50-50 and kind of say, well, let's see when the proof does come, I'll go either way. Not the cognitive dissonance of, I'm not going to believe that till I see it. And then when you see it, it's like disclosure. The Pentagon released a thing from 2004 it's basically the tic-tac-toe or the TIE fighter or whatever they call it, of it chasing, and the jet going as fast as it could not catch up to this thing, and it just bolted off to the left or the right off screen. That looks like a fucking unidentified flying object if I ever saw one, and the Pentagon's like,
giant
ape
throw fucking log 30 feet with a fucking flick of the fist.
Caber tossed it.
And then and these people, the people who live in, and no offense to anybody living there, they live in Chicago, they live in New York, they live in Jersey, and they live in a suburb, and they're like, oh, I've never seen a Bigfoot. Of course you haven't. Of course you haven't. So, don't, I don't know, just like saying I've never seen a UFO.
Well, think about it even on this scale. 12-point buck, very rare. Any buck is rare, like 8 to 12 pointer. You're in your tree stand maybe for 2 years during hunting season every weekend, and he never walks by. Third year, he comes out of nowhere, and you get a shot on him, hit or miss. But look at the time it takes just to pick the spot to be in there. And how many 12-point bucks are there out there? A shitload. How many Bigfoots? Possibly way less. So if it takes 3 years to find one of something that there's a lot of, where there's a very small amount to track that are very elusive and even more intelligent, chances are, dude, so goddamn slim to even catch a glimpse in passing if they don't want to be seen, So this video, it's cool. I'm going to reach out to this guy because I think him telling his story to 4 workers and recounting that buck fever will, set off, is this the real deal or isn't it? And I'm also going to reach out to Zach Vork, the Google stooge from Project Veritas. He might be ready to come back on too, and then we'll try and get the franchise, you guys. That's who we're kind of chipping away at. Let's get that done.
He's playing a long game too, just like Q.
Yeah. And we'll see if Chainsaw hits us back to send us to France next week. I say chances are very slim.
But drive up to Rome, New York to even help film the investigation that we did. By the way, check it out on YouTube, Capitol Theater Investigation. Hopefully we can do another one of those in the future.
Yeah.
Hey, that Capitol Rome Theater excursion that we did was it was a very good case of what we just mentioned. Case in point, Stevie and I walked into the projector room, and it was freezing. Sal walked in the projection room, and it was hot as balls. Yeah. He was sweating, saying that 90 degrees hot, 100 degrees hot, whatever.
It actually kept me from going into the room.
So, with that being said, we did not see anything, but something was wrong.
Yeah,
something was up. You know, our spidey senses were tingling, if you will. And you have spidey senses too, Ben, so don't fuck around.
Yeah.
Okay?
I wouldn't hide out from the rain like a little pussy like Spider-Man would in that one picture.
Stop your nonsense. Go ahead. Let's go.
Hey, but we found noises.
It's raining.
There was noises we couldn't explain. The temperature thing, I just happened to catch it. 2 air conditioners on 72. And then Sal tries to go in there and he gets a blast of hot air. It's pretty fucking right there. But the noises, the taps, the boot sounds from up top.
From the side where you heard the whispering, after asking questions. Yeah, I mean that's just when you really tune into the subconsciousness of it and you are really aware of it and not distracted. Incredible things can happen or seen. And what are you really missing from the supernatural or the unknown because we're so distracted and so not tapped into our spot and stalk predator mindset, as that's been washed away from fluoride, fluoridation to phone addiction to whatever it is, where we're not in tune to those senses that aren't labeled among the 5. It's an interesting question. As we move into transhumanism, we'll be able to enhance those senses to a way high degree, where we've already seen technology with people who aren't able to speak anymore have their thoughts put directly to voice messaging. So the telepathy is there as we expand to killer robots to bring you back to life and turn you into a killer robot, to keep Tim Baltimore alive and turn him into a Terminator. As I just saw the new post from him as he survives yet another surgery. And I think if I had one person to vote for to be given eternal life and transhumanism, he's already halfway there. I know he can take the adamantium injection to become Wolverine if he needs to. So Timmy Baltimore, Conspiracy Horsemen are thinking of you, man. And I'm glad to see that you pulled through another one, bro.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. Feel better. Get well soon.
Yeah, dude. I think anybody else got anything else? I think we covered our chat this week. Just some cool things as we get closer to playing God, and not just from bringing people back to life, but looking at them and judging their every fucking move and deciding what type of paradise life they're going to live in. It's a very strange prison planet that is being seen right now digitally and scientifically.
I watched the Chappelle special, but
oh yeah,
Netflix.
Did you think of the Pushback?
Pushback's ridiculous, dude. Come on, bro. It's a typical comedy special that we were seeing in the 80s and the 90s. Nothing out of the norm. But because of the way the society is now, it's almost taboo, if you will, of what he said, which is basically his point of view. And some of it's true. You know, some of it I can disagree with, whatever. But, was it the funniest? No. There were some jokes that had me laughing. You know what I mean? But I've always felt that he was a better...
It was an important pushback.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And the fact that some of these people are shitting on it because their feelings are hurt and they're snowflakes, like Ray, Big Ray, follow Big Ray's show at bigrayshow.com. He's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? I always felt his sketch comedy was better than his stand-up.
You think it's him? Because I watched...
Yes, I think it's him. I think he's living the good life. That's why he kind of blew up. He looks like he has a little bit of a belly. Maybe
he hit Chappelle from 2004 today. It was very different.
What's very different? Not his mannerisms and his
tone and body style.
Well, body style can change, especially if you do the 16-week SRF band program. You can actually get in the shape of your life if you want to.
Yeah, but
and it's the only one that's endorsed by
Dr.
Janda.
Grow. This guy, he has
unless he only gets 1 hour of sleep per day.
That's true.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Go back and watch some old, and then let me know what you think.
But I'll tell you one thing, though. There are points when I look at him, and he does look like Bokeem Woodbine, like the actor.
Yes.
And he doesn't look.
The forehead and the head are different, dude. Like old Chappelle had that more African look to me, like Ethiopian drawn out face, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, and now this dude is maybe because he's living high on the hog, but he don't look fat. And the fact that he's wearing those full body jumpsuits to make himself, to cover up his body, is also kind of like, oh, that's a weird thing to me for him to wear. You know, he's not really making a statement on like, I could be a janitor and these are my opinions. So that's why
he's wearing his half-baked outfit.
Yeah. So,
but he definitely, dude, for them to get mad about all that stuff, and it really hasn't, the cancel culture didn't work. Not many people canceled Netflix because these people probably didn't even have Netflix in the first place and just heard they need to be mad about it. And they couldn't even name one joke he did. But man, the one where he talked about, you know, that quote where he talked about, oh, I want to do a couple imitations. And then he did the one from back in the day. And then he did the one of, duh, whatever you do, if it's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to fuck your life up. And he goes, guess who that is? And all these people start going, Trump, Trump, Trump. And he goes, no, that's you. He goes, you people are so fucked up. You wonder why I don't do stand up. I'm paraphrasing it now, but he goes,
that's
y'all
awesome.
are just fucked up, and I don't, you know, like he basically just buried them. He buried everybody.
And then all the SJWs in the crowd were clapping.
He's so right. He's right. I am an asshole. He's true.
Between that and the most recent thing of them trying to like close down Chick-fil-A at Kansas University, Trump's going to win.
What for?
Because because two people on the board voted for traditional marriage at one point. They do not fund these groups year in and year out. They can't even get their facts straight about this stuff. So what they do is, dude, they Democrats, here's the fuck, if you even are fucking Democrats anymore, you hire the four of us to learn how to work. You don't fucking know how to work. You're the worst.
Not at all. Not at all. And if they want to be baby faces and build empathy, they take their empathy and turn it into crybaby hatred from everybody who should be their boy or girl or whatever you want to identify as on the fucking sides of them. So it's the beautiful clusterfuck that they've created for themselves, and now they'll all roll around in it, kicking and screaming. I think
hopefully they drown in it.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. They'll eat their own. I saw it the other day. There was like don't gender me, you know, Portland dude who has never thrown a punch, who's got a doughboy body, getting in the face of what would be a Black Lives Matter person who would be on their same side. Now their movement is so corrupt at their own rallies, they're eating each other. And the white dude who is probably, you know, gender queer identifying is just telling them to shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear your opinion. Shut the fuck over and over again. Standing nose to nose Eskimo kiss away from him. Like, this is where they are. They don't have anybody to listen to them anymore, so they're going to turn on each other, little kids in the sandbox. It's beautiful to watch. I love their stupidity to consume them. But I think that's pretty much wrapping it up is what we wanted to cover here about playing God, you know, from a digital perspective and from a health perspective as we go forward, and what conundrums will that make for us all? And I think there's a lot of answers that need to be told here. As I'm looking forward to the salamander blood. Sal, what do you want to regenerate?
I'm down with that. No, I'm down with that. I would love to do that. However, now let me just put this out there. So, Ben, you're a college student. You're a graduate. Say this technology was around where it's become commonplace. Tell me you and the boys, you guys are hanging out one night. Maybe y'all get a little smizzed up. Who knows what's going on? And you're like, no, dude, go ahead, shoot me. Left arm.
Just so you can regenerate and take a bullet. So you're fuck it. Fuck that. I've seen what bullets can do to deer. I'm not trying to show off at that hard level. That shit hurts. You know, I might let you chop a finger off though with a bunch.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You know.
Yeah, your goddamn mind.
Well, it depends on how much whiskey you drank. You weren't there for the Fearless Jack Bull Malibu Challenge 1 and 2. That got way out of BW. Yeah, man. But Sal, anything else you want to add on promotion? What's going on?
Nope.
Breaking Sal.
Nope. Eventually, I'm hoping Stevie, if Stevie's not still pissed, we'll probably maybe do something if you're around this weekend. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's retired.
And then we're going to be recording. I just talked to Chuck, and we are going to be recording, I think, maybe Monday or Tuesday. We're doing Blood Diner, and then
Russo's pumped about that Banana Splits movie. So
I can't fucking wait for that, dude.
You might want to have him on after you watch as a special guest.
Yeah,
he was super pumped about it last
night.
And
well, I had gotten messages a while back about checking out the Banana Splits movie, and I don't like name dropping, but I met the Banana Splits when I was a kid, so this is gonna mean something.
I proposed last night. I wonder if it has anything to do with some smiley face killer symbolism in there. Keep an eye out for that if you wouldn't mind.
All right. But we'd like to plan on maybe in October for our Halloween show. We'll do the live, get a public domain movie and do a watch along. And I know nobody likes them, but we're going to do it anyway. See if you guys are available. You guys will want to come hang out. We'll all do a live watch. Do an episode of the Horror Junkyard, do it live, get everybody in the chat room, see what everybody's up to, see if they, just for Halloween, fucking around. Aside from that, I'm not doing fuck all. I'm getting rid of Twitter because I fucking hate everybody there. Not like Stevie got rid of it. Like, I'm actually going to, delete it.
No.
Yeah. Everybody can go fucking kill themselves in Twitter.
You're going to miss all the dirty turnbuckle gifts.
I'll see him from you guys. You guys can show me because he's talented. He has a talent, but everybody else can fucking die. But that's about it.
Awesome. So, yeah. That's the strong stuff. You can. I hope everybody else fucking dies. Shirt at prowrestlingtees.com/SEG shirts.
Yeah,
good stuff going down. GGP, where are you at this weekend, man?
Let's see. This weekend I got nothing. Things fell through, so the bookings didn't come through this weekend. So I will be doing the JOB to the FAMILY, like I always do. We just recorded another good episode of NFO last night. Should be dropping tomorrow.
Cool.
If our producer, Big Ray, does things correctly, if you follow him at Ray Big Show on Grinder.com. And that's basically it. The 21st, I will be at Immortal Championship Wrestling watching your back, making sure no conspiracies happen and they don't try to screw you out of the title that you created and made awesome. And I will be on the quest to blazing my trail and making my path to the ICW Heavyweight Championship so I can add another championship to my sexy Greek waist. On the 28th, I'll be at NYWC. Beginning of October, what's the first week of October? The 5th, I'll be down in Virginia, Vanguard Championship Wrestling. The 12th, I'll be in Ronan in Florida. And I forgot the back half of October, where the fuck I'm going to be.
Maybe also, the 20th, at the...
the 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely try to stop down there. But also October 4th, going to be going to Comic-Con down in New York with the NFO crew, hosting live interviews. It's going to invade Comic-Con and try to turn it into an NFO live stream.
I cannot wait. Papa Don, you need to make sure that the first person who has a panic attack because they're overstimulated, make sure you right on top of them with a camera. And make sure you watch them as they fucking squirm like a fish out of water. And they're screaming that the anxiety and there's too much stimulus. And everybody stop talking. I want you to nonstop promo on them until they fucking explode.
Frankie Zero already thought.
Also, just make sure did you guys take notes? Did you fucking take notes? Because he gave you gold for Master Shoot Theater.
Oh, well. What are you going to do? He already thought of it first, so it doesn't matter what I do at this point.
Well, he is a major influence on the business. I mean, Cody did come out dressed up as Star Trek because he was dressed up as a Klingon.
Fuck. I'm getting rid of Twitter.
Steve, how's LinkedIn going? How many new connections have we made? How many verified skills have we done today?
I'll tell you, 2 people from that picture I haven't sent a request to.
Right.
I said we will never talk about Frankie Zero again on this show. So if Frankie
You
Zero
just
has
did.
a problem, he can go to me with it. Because you are now dead to us.
I will be gone.
You're as dead as
Tell
a
your
crowd.
family at the fucking dinner table. Tell them what I said. Tell the whole world what I said.
And that's not a poem. That's the truth.
You're going to wake up with a fucking yoga mat next to you in bed.
Everyone came for me.
He's as dead as a crowd during a Chris Envy match.
Oh.
That's it. That's it. Stevie, what 9 shows are you recording this week?
Oh, God. Well, I'm ahead on the queue with the Stevie Richards broadcast. We do have the Infinite Fringe episode up with Billy Ray Valentine. Very, very interesting how it got about 8% to the upload before it got demonetized. Like, as it was being uploaded to go private. Very, very interesting stuff.
You should look what words are in that first, trigger words in that first 8 minutes.
Oh, I was trying to do
Hi, welcome
on that
to.
morning in the 9th month of the year in the early millennium, just trying to fucking, the 17th movement, instead of saying Q. But also today, I had a really cool test of the iPad Pro as a laptop replacement. I was using it for podcasting. I use it with this USB microphone, and I actually used the Rodecaster Pro with the Shure SM7B, and it read it, and the audio quality was very good. So I've been doing a lot of these tests, trying to, because the iPad Pro I talked to you about it before, Sal. I need a new Mac, but I don't want to get a laptop because everything is soldered. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
At least with the iMac, I can upgrade it if I need to. If I'm going to go that route, I might as well do an iPad Pro, and it's really come through. Outside of what we're doing here, you need a Mac for, but it's a good piece of equipment for a lot of different use cases. So that's going to continue. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Of course, StevieRichardsFitness.com. I really need to step up my game and put myself over 17, 18 times a day so people realize that the programs are actually good. Because I hear that's what you have to do. I don't know. I haven't.
Well, that email that guy sent you was awesome today. He lost 38 pounds with your advice.
Yeah, he lost 38 pounds. Yeah, so good stuff. And Ben's been an amazing success story as well. So, thinking about retiring from the fitness business too. Considering it. I'm just putting it out there. If some fucking shyster from Beachbody wants to buy for $100 million, go ahead. And then I'll start Michael Manna Fitness.
Oh, got him.
Didn't see that one.
Are you gonna do a bicycle tire with a stick in it? Because that would be over.
It's just gonna be, you're gonna get in shape by just visualizing it. Nobody's going that fuck. I'm convinced people are so fucking stupid. If you just told them, there's people out there.
That's my new program.
Oh, people are so fucking stupid.
Yes, it's my new program of stop being a fucking idiot. Just lose weight. Think about it.
That's what Rogan says.
That's all you got to do.
Rogan says
if you can think it,
of course
it can happen.
I am so close to doing start doing the parody fitness programs. Flat Earth, Flat Abs, all these other ones.
You won't do it. You won't do it.
That'll get him over.
You will.
Of course he won't do it.
Hindu squats. Here come the plane to the Pentagon. Do your Hindu squats. Get underneath the light pole.
And as we move into celebration week, a week from today, will be our 9/11 show. So I'm sure we'll have some updates that way as well as we look.
I'm going to try to get some more shine for 9/11.
Yeah, and maybe even bring back Billy Ray Valentine, as he is a huge 9/11 truther as well, and always got great updates. And we want to just bring the high quality information to new viewers who may not. We had people in the chat room tonight who were saying, "Man, since I've been listening to you guys the last 6 months, my whole worldview's changed," and that's exactly what we're here for, and we appreciate that. Whether it's using sarcasm and satire to look at tough things like 9/11 that changed our entire world and freedom, and the reason why we're pretty much all here combined to be the voice of it all. As Papa Don and I will be there on the 21st at Immortal to slap the shit out of you if you need it for $5, because a lot of you do, and I'm sure he can carry that to his Ronin title if need be as well. And then I'll be across. Go ahead.
I want to ask you for permission, Godfather.
Oh, absolutely.
And here's what I'm asking for. Remember Talladega Nights Shake and Bake?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, we'll have our own little shake and bake scenario. You do the $5 face laps, and with your permission, if granted, I could do the $5 chest chops.
Absolutely.
And then we get a little bit of a shake and bake action.
I like that. We'll get them both. I like it. And I'll even include the deal: buy two get one free. So they get chopped, slapped, and then they get slapped again afterwards. Only one person has bought that. One group of douchebags bought it, but they got it all. And then I'm going to cross the border illegally because Canada's security is a joke to me. Probably zip line across Niagara Falls and go up there and win back my tag titles.
Did you just vision him doing it like I did?
With a beard.
Actually, I saw him going.
They have full zip lines across Niagara Falls now. So not only can you picture me, but you can picture me and Congo Kong coming back in gimmick as we go to Niagara Falls.
Tremendous.
If anybody wants to Photoshop that of me and Congo Kong flying.
Hey, dirty turnbuckles, get on that.
That's where we'll be on the 22nd. Some good sales at ProWrestlingTees.com/BinAmin/Greek God Papadon/SCG shirts /Stevie Richards. And, obviously I thanked him in the beginning, but it's just so humbling to see our platform moving forward with the help of Voices of Misery podcast, with Rat Salad Review. I want you guys to go over to Twitter. Even you, Sal, before you disconnect and follow them.
Yeah, who's that Voice of Misery? Who is that kid?
Husband and wife team, I believe, right? Yeah, no. But they just had Ray on talking with Heather Hunter, very famous adult film star. I know they're going to do something with Russo soon, and Rat_Salad. All your heavy metal news and whatnot.
He's got some good shit there.
With Brent Logan, I really want to get their following up, so go follow them at Rat_Salad on Twitter, you guys.
By the way, for like 2 minutes straight, I just kept showing that Becky Lynch stunner on Austin.
Like somebody hit me with that. Kaz, 3319. But the thing is, like, that's bad enough, and he grabs her titty when she goes down, which is pop me. But then he
stunned Austin.
Dude, beer commercial at the end. He pops a beer for her. Oh, you're such a gentleman. Hits her she hits him with the stunner. He dead sells for it, lays out perfectly, and then he just rolls over and no sells and pitches for next week. Tune in next week.
Was this for a beer commercial?
No, it's for his new show, which is pretty much a big beer commercial.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, it was bad, dude. It was like as bad as business exposing bad from the greatest wrestler of all time, possibly, for somebody they're trying to get over. Who isn't worthy, dude. It was placating bad. He did grab her titty. Go back and look at it. Stevie, you want to show there? Stevie, can you show that video again?
I'm quitting wrestling again.
Let me see if I can find it.
All right. Like when he goes down, like that's one part.
I'll just
Austin
send it in a chat. You'll love it.
And right around, he gives a full handy on her before he takes one.
And do you think her fiance went back and said, "Hey man, I don't appreciate you grabbing my girl"?
That was disrespectful.
Well,
I bet you not.
Depends who he was making out with at the time, or sending nudes to.
That was disrespectful.
Yeah, well, that's me. I'm Ben Hameen. I'll call up your agent and give you somebody else's number as a return call, because that's what we do here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen, because it's FOH and no fucks given, infidels, because the Nancy Browns got to have their heads crushed in. If you're down south, stay safe from Dorian. Cover your ass, batten down the hatches, and let us know about all the propaganda that you see in the money grab of this corrupt world, because we're here to tear them all down, because it's the Conspiracy Horsemen. YOLO!